I can't believe you're mad that I don't want greasy things involving you and some Hollywood film dummy to happen in her bed.
Okay, I'm not mad. It just would have been a lot more convenient for me to bang him here.
And if you're not gonna be enjoying it, you're gonna be thinking of me the whole time. Why are you getting all fancied up like you're going to the fucking birds?
What I look like has got nothing to do with it. He paid $10,000. The least I can do is chuck on some lipstick.
I don't know, Lucy. I know, but I don't know if this is a good idea.
You've got to make a decision. First I was going to bang him, then I wasn't going to bang him. It was like picking fucking petals off a daisy. We made this decision together. It's the deal.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just when I think about him banging you and you looking at him with that look you get in your eye, I don't know. It's fucking me up.
Listen, Rick, that look that I get, that's for you. I have feelings for Tom. So no matter how big he is or how many times he bangs me or how hard or whatever, that look is only for you. Right?
That's all I really need to hear. I'm sorry I'm being stupid. I love you so much.
I love you too.
I hope he's not bigger than me.
Okay?
Good luck.
Are you ready, James?
What's going on?
Just hold.
Where am I?
Look at me. Look at me.
Where?
You're gonna be fine. It's just the opium kicking in. Execute the mission as planned. Let's go. Look at here, old Benson. Tool head. Behind the tool shed. Tom.
Yep.
I want you to fuck the dog shit out of her.
Okay.
Doggy style.
Got it.
And be ready by 3 o'clock.
Okay. 3 o'clock, be ready. I don't think about you.
You better be.
Okay. Bubbles, what's up, baby?
Hey, Snoop, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Hit that shit one time.
You killed that shit, baby.
Listen, you think you guys could stay one more day, maybe?
Fortunately, I can't, dog.
Not even like just one day. It wouldn't, hurt.
I wish I could, but I gotta get back to LA. I got shit to do.
Oh, just... You crying, dog? I'm not crying. I'm gonna miss you guys, with all the dogs and the bitches and whatnot. Man, I just don't want you to go.
Look here, man. Just because I'm leaving don't mean I can't come back. I got a jet, a whole bunch of money, and a trip back to Sunnyvale, it ain't Nathan.
Really? You promise you'll come back and see me?
We family now, nephew. I'm coming back to fuck with you. Matter of fact, I got something for you. Check it out, walk with me.
What is it?
Come on, man, just close your eyes. Now open the motherfuckers.
Holy sweet flying biscocks!
All for you, baby. That's yours. The 62-band graphic legalizer, dub bass expander, Snoop Tech, brought to you by yours truly.
That's for me?
That's for you. It's a ghetto blaster for a ghetto motherfucker. See, that's a ghetto blaster for your motherfucking ass.
Oh my God, that's the fucking nicest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I want you to enjoy every minute of it. I want you to turn it up loud. I want you to turn this motherfucking trailer park inside out.
Thanks, Snoop.
No, thank you, man, for being a hell of a person.
Who's got your bezel?
Oh, come on, man. That shit too much right there. Come on now, stop with that.
Got Snoop's bezel. It's never been more clear to me. It's clearer than I can knock all this in this world together.
If it was clear to you, truly clear, you would understand.
Guy, that's the only way any of us are gonna be truly free. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. I'll drive. Like hell. Suck the shotgun. Get up.
That's how you crank the lows right here. That's that bass for your face.
Decent. Bubs, you want me to check it out? How much would something like that be worth now? Fuck right on. What's it worth? Not getting sold ever. So you're fine today, man?
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go take care of some business.
All right. Okay, I went to the lawyer's office, right? Just gonna make up this partnership agreement. It's like a letter of intent that you intend on investing in Sunnyvale. It's got something right there, man.
Shit, you know I plan on doing that, baby.
Right on. Yes.
It's all official now.
This is gonna be good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh. Yeah, I just want to ask you about, got any, like, startup capital to get things going?
How much?
$5 grand.
For real?
Yeah, why, is that too much?
I thought you was gonna ask for some real money, man. 5 G's ain't shit to it. Hold on one sec.
All right, what about 7? Is that too much? Oh, Ricky money's kind of fucking whining about it, right?
You know what? Take 10.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Snoop, finally perfection 5RD energy, man. Got some weird shit going on. I want to get fucked out of my mind today, me and you.
Let's get it.
Fucking brain just keeps repeating and everything. Fucking gotta shut it down.
What? You still mad at me?
The fuck do you think?
Look, man. Right. You and Lucy fucking figured this out yourselves, okay? I had nothing to do with it. It was all fucking Sarah.
It cancels out.
It cancels out, man.
Is that how that works, Pops?
Well, technically, right? You know, with the reversal of things and, you know, yeah. Here, right. $1,000. $1,000? I threw $50 interest in there, too. That be cool? Right on. Awesome, man. Okay, boss, we gotta go. I don't want that shit. I'll take that, Ricky. I'll shit myself.
It's me and you. Ready to get smiley?
Let's get it, baby.
Yeah. This is so great, Lucy. I can't believe it.
So greasy. I mean, Ricky and I banged in the bathroom here like once. I don't know how this is the full Sunnyvale experience that you keep talking about.
Oh, no. I don't want to beg you. What does Ricky call them? Sweet and power chicken balls, you know, the good kind, $8.
Chicken fingers is what they're called. Listen, can we just please just go somewhere and get this over with?
Oh my God, that's so great. You're nagging me like you nag Ricky. Oh, this is so real. I love it. Let's go.
Hey, it's the dick shit. Hey, what's up, you fucker?
Hey, man. Here, have some, man. What are you? Some kind of pussy? Huh?
Oh, I'm not a fucking pussy.
Oh, this is what you do, is it? Yeah.
Give me the here.
Pussy.
There you go. Well, I got the $5 grand.
Ooh, $5 grand.
Oh my God. This could quite possibly do the trick. Possibly. What the fuck do you mean possibly?
It's not an exact science, but I do know we have Judge Reynolds today, which could be a very good thing for us, yeah?
Oh, he's an old party slut from back in the 70s, you know. He never lost his penchant for hookers with big floppy tits and the old happy dust, but who hasn't? Yeah, $5 grand could buy a hell of a good weekend for that rinky old prick. Right on. Well, good luck. Just get a hold of us when you're done. No, what? You still have to go to the courthouse. What? Yeah. Why?
Look, I'm bribing a judge here, okay? I'm not buying you a safe passage out of Bangkok. You have to pretend.
I'm not going to fucking court.
You have to.
Well, I don't actually. No, you do have to go. If I'm doing this, you're going to court with me.
Damn straight. Now listen, I'm going down to the courthouse to meet up with Reynolds. I'll meet you wad gobblers inside. Yes? Give me that.
Wish me luck. See you down there. Good luck.
Now I'm fucking baked.
Be okay. Where the fuck is Steinberg? Maybe he's out back blowing rails off Augustine with Judge Reynolds. That could be good for us. Chewing on big time, goddamn. Oh shit. Oh, maybe not more right here. We fucking around to get together. Can't stop myself. Bob Barker, everybody. Smart enough.
Please rise. Court is now in session.
Okay, Jeffrey Dahmer. Shut up, Bob.
The Honorable Judge Priscilla Hood presiding.
Jesus Christ.
Please be seated. All right, now. In the matter of Barbara Leahy versus
GFY Investments.
Excuse me, not here yet, so could we...
I'm very well aware your lawyer is not here. Your lawyer is currently on his way to jail for trying to bribe a judge in front of a security camera.
What?
Oh, let me guess. You didn't know that your lawyer offered $3,000 to Judge Reynolds to sway his decision? So we'll proceed. Unless you have any other greasy options you'd care to pursue.
I can't believe we're here.
Nice.
Well, I didn't want to be too nice because of the effect. You hear that? Oh my gosh, we're in the right place. You can't write that. There you go, my lady. No cameras in here, sorry.
Crazy. Can't believe that greasy fuck tried to skim $2,000 off the fucking bribe.
Well, I don't think the fact that your greasy fucking lawyer tried to keep a couple $1,000 for himself.
What are we gonna do? I don't know. But Snoop can't find out about this, man. Gotta get him the fuck out of the park so we can figure this shit out.
Maybe you should just tell him the truth, Julie. Did you ever fucking think that?
The truth is fuck Bubs. Finds out we don't own the park, he's not gonna give us any more money.
You're gonna try to grease more money out of Snoop Dogg.
Bubs, we're fucked. Do you understand? The park is gone. Snoop's our only hope of fucking Freedom 45, man.
I just... Snoop Dogg.
Way more fucked up than I probably should be, man. Holy fuck, it's awesome, but we're gonna feel like this for 26, 28 hours.
What the fuck you talking about, Rick?
Well, how many if we do? How many hours is this gonna be?
What, you think the more we drink, the more we gonna be hours? What the fuck?
But that's the way it should work. It just adds hours on, but it doesn't feel like, just feels like it's fucking me up even more the more we do.
Yeah, it's fucking you up 5 times as much more, man, you fuck. We need to roll up one and smoke something to level this shit off.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
I should get some hours.
Oh, you need to sit down somewhere, man.
Don't stand up.
You hear me? I'm not gonna try that.
Okay, I gotta get back over here.
I'm gonna blow one for the pole one. There you go. You surfboard now. Ride that motherfucking ass.
Randy!
Fuck is he? I can just open the gate.
What the fuck are you doing? Obviously not your goddamn fucking job.
Sorry, Julie, I can't exactly control when I need to have a bowel movement.
Do what you're supposed to do, you're fired.
Well, go ahead, fire me then.
Huh?
Ricky, what are you doing?
It's like the Luke Skytalkers thing that just, it hovers, man.
Oh my God, you didn't drink all of those.
You take my...
2, maybe 3.
Oh my God, Ricky, get up.
Get up. I think 7 is too much.
Much too much. But hey, I love it. Fucked up, baby.
7 of them. One of these could take down a fucking horse.
Shit.
So Snoop, what time you guys rolling out?
We're supposed to be dipping out as soon as Tom finishes taking his.
I'm taking. My nipples, boys, they feel like diamond fucking erasers. It's all I can feel right now.
I'm fucked up too, Rick. I might have to stay extra day or 2.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome if you stayed.
Yeah.
Stay, man. I don't know, man. We got the fucking fog rolling in.
Fog.
Yeah, Nova Scotia fog. When it rolls in, man, it fucks everything up. Shuts down the airports. Won't be here for days. I'd love to have you, man, but I don't know if you want to be stuck here for a few more days.
TNA, motherfucker. Change your plans. We got to roll out. They got some Nova Scotia fog bullshit I'm not trying to get caught up in. Here, hit me back. Quick and fast.
Rub it. Just rub it. It's fucking awesome.
Just don't rub his nipples, man.
Hello?
Here, fuck off, Ricky.
Duh. Yeah, holla at me.
Yeah, just come pick me up on the way out. There's gonna be one more person in the jet, though.
Jake Rock's heart, it's true, and I will always thank him for being a friend. But Doug Benson, he lives in a deluxe apartment in the sky. So, I mean, it's Hollywood.
Ready to go to Hollywood?
See. Bonus.
I used to think that being Trevor really wanted, but I just don't know. Things were just so much simpler
when I was the assistant trailer park supervisor, and Mr. Leahy was my boss. The frick?
Bitches!
Shit, it's time to go. Let's roll, ladies.
Julian, isn't there something you want to tell Snoop?
Yeah, man, we should invest, right? Now, when you can get it to us. Because I'm thinking about the big picture here, man. Like, I'm thinking about maybe taking the money and build a brand new trailer park. You know, a bigger one, a better one.
A brand new trailer park for what? You got the best motherfucking trailer park in the world right here. Just trailer park in, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, Julia.
Nice tits, boy.
Those tits are my baby.
Sorry, Julia. It's not my fault. They broke through the nut. You're fired.
Fired?
Yeah, you're fucking fired. You're useless.
That's perfect. That's just one less thing that I have to do. Gentlemen, as required by law, I hereby give you 30 days to pack up all your shit and get it the fuck out of my trailer park.
Her park? What the fuck kind was that?
Yeah, man, I didn't want to say anything because I thought I could keep shit under control. I tried to bribe a judge this morning, man, and it didn't work out.
So you had me invest in a trailer park that you don't even own? Judge?
Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, that's some thugged out gangster shit, and I fucks with it.
Snoop, just so you know, I had nothing to do with it. I wanted him to tell you the truth. He wouldn't listen to me.
Look, let me tell you something. When I said I would invest in the park, I mean you, all of y'all. Shit, I could buy 20 motherfucking trailer parks and call them Sunnyvale. But it don't matter. It's about the people. Like it or not, you motherfuckers is family. And I consider y'all my family. So once y'all get this, boo, holler, I'm in. Bubs, let me holler at you. Man, make sure you take care of this shit and you get back with me, all right? Give me some. Yeah. Till we meet again.
All right, see. You can't do this. You can't do this. Please, please don't evict us.
You know what? I can, and I am.
Look,
You know what, Julian? It feels really great to be the one that's doing the fighting.
so fuck. Fuck is coming in hot. What's he doing? Fuck! He tried to kill us!
Jim, what the hell are you doing?
Hey, what the fuck are you doing?
Come to blow the fucking place up, Julian. Kama Sutra, bud.
It's covered in gas. Smell it.
Why do you guys get so banged up when you get on the liquor? Listen, man.
No, you fucking listen, Julian.
Jim, calm the fuck down.
I am calm the fuck down, Julian. I'm completely pissed. Because one of us has to go for good, bud.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I was out. I took everything in my soul. Everything I had in my fucking soul to leave. And you pulled me back in, Julian.
I didn't pull you back in.
Julian, you pulled me back in.
Mr. Leahy. I don't need you, but I do. And you need me, Mr. Leahy.
Yeah.
We need to be together. Like Batman and Robin. The original one from the 1960s.
Randy.
So what do you say, Mr. Leahy? Can we be together forever?
I like that, bud.
Oh, it's gonna be all right. Give me the gun, Jim.
The gun! Fuck! Jesus, Leslie.
Oh my God! Somebody call a fucking ambulance! Call an ambulance! Rick! You fuck off with the fucking camera!
Whoa.
Tom, thinking about it was one thing, but now that we're actually here, I don't think I can bang you. I'm sorry.
Lucy, I was never gonna bang you. I mean, not that you're not smoking hot, and I'd love to do dirty, dirty things to you, but I'm kind of happily married. And say you would bang me. Oh my God, that's such an honor, and that's enough for me.
All right, that's really no offense, but like.
No, there is one thing I'm gonna ask you to do for me.
All right, well.
Nothing greasy.
Oh.
Look, take that. I want Trinity to have the most amazing wedding ever. You know, a person's first wedding.
I can't take this. Like, I haven't done anything.
Are you kidding me? I'm dressed like Ricky. I've been driving that shitbox car all over the place. I got to know Bubbles and Julian, and I'm in a crappy motel talking about banging Lucy with Lucy. Oh my gosh, this has been the best ever. Just don't tell Ricky that I'm a softie.
Oh.
Okay? Okay? Okay, now I'm becoming a hardie. The mallet, it's hard to hide it, you know?
All right,
Yeah.
well.
Listen, you think I'll see you guys again someday?
I mean, that would be nice.
It would be nice, right? Oh.
Thank you.
You know, hypothetical. If you'd have met me before you met Ricky, do you think that there's any chance that you and I would have...
Lucy, you gotta stop what you're doing! Liz! Yeah? Lucy, you gotta come with me. I gotta leave you for the
Stay there. Leave the room, my phone. I'm gonna stay here and jerk off.
I can't believe this. I can't believe it. I should have been in there right on him. I should have did something. I could have saved him.
Boss, there's nothing anybody could have done, okay?
Folks, Ricky is alive, but I'm afraid it's not good news.
What do you mean?
The bullet fragment entered the edge of the temporal lobe, but we're unable to retrieve it. I've never seen anything like it. He is breathing on his own, but there's been no brain activity since he came in. He shouldn't be alive.
Oh my God.
You just wait. Ricky's brain's not very active on the best of days, just so you know. He was really, really high when he got hit. Could that be affecting it?
No brain activity.
I mean none. I'm very sorry.
My God. Oh, what's a temporal lobe? It's a very important part, Corey. Not a good time to be stupid, bud.
Are these guys doing here? Hey, boys, good to see you. Just stay the fuck out of her way today, all right?
Please.
I'm gonna be shooting Trin's wedding video for free, man. Where the fuck is Jacob, man? He should be doing this shit.
He's probably working one of the 7 jobs, I would assume.
Dickweed. Dickweed? Look, man, you better not be a fucking cranky ass tomorrow, I'm telling you.
Well, it's kind of hard to be positive, Julian, when you know you're getting fucking evicted soon. And you're...
Look, man, I'm gonna figure something out, Bubs. Bubs, look at me. Bubbles, look at me. Listen, man, I promise you, it's gonna be okay. What would Ricky want us to be doing right now? Wouldn't want us to be moping and crying and all that shit, man. He'd want us to be getting drunk and high and celebrating that his daughter's getting married tomorrow. And that's what the fuck we're gonna do.
Be getting my belly, too.
He'd definitely be getting your belly. Come on. The past 3 weeks has been pretty hard on all of us, especially Bubbles. And tomorrow, it's gonna be a very, very emotional day. It's drunk as fuck tonight. It's hard to feel sad when you're hungover as fuck and feel like shit. The drunk I can get him tonight, the better he's gonna be tomorrow.
All right, you know what?
What?
Let's do this up the way Ricky would want it done.
Fucking right.
All right, he wouldn't want this, you know, to be like a regular thing. You know exactly what he would do to this. He would want it to say that.
Nice. But it's missing something. Bubs, come on.
What would Ricky put on that?
I don't know. Julian, I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
Ricky's been drawing cocks on things since friggin' grade 2. I've had them all over my face, across my back, behind my ears, places I can't even see. He even burnt one into me with a soldering iron when we were 9 years old. You can still see the scar. Look, he wrote cockpit under it.
What do you? I can't even see it.
Put a couple more on there. Ricky thinks small cocks in front of you.
Yeah, but he probably put a few more on there.
How many cocks would you prefer, Julian?
I don't know, 3 or 4.
You would like 3 or 4 cocks, would you?
Put them all over the place, man. More cocks, the merrier, bud.
More cocks, the merrier, eh?
Would you fuck off?
You said you wanted 3 or 4 cocks.
Listen, just put the cocks in there and put it on the car.
Julian wants 3 or 4 cocks.
Take a block off, man. What's up, man? This is awesome, Jack.
I'm stuck in the corner.
This is the best day of my life, man.
Right on, bro.
Oh.
Hey, when do you expect folks to start arriving?
I don't know, for what?
Stag party, dude. Today's my stag.
I know, man. It's awesome. It's the best.
Well, and you're my best man. So...
Oh, man, you're my best man, too. That's so awesome.
No, I mean, like, you're the best man, you know?
Best man times 2. Oh, double it, bitch.
No, Corey, the best man's supposed to invite a bunch of guys to come over and party with us, you know? And I get lap dances and drink till I puke. Fucking awesome.
Okay, cool. I'll do the best you want, dude. Hey, best man right here, man. I got this. It's gonna be awesome, man. Hey, blue fist. Hey, Mr. Leahy. Hi, Randers. I got a surprise. Whoa! Spent 10 hours making that.
Nice. Randy, can I offer you a little drink or
Mr.
something?
Leahy, what? I spent a lot of time making this. It's so you could get your paper route back.
I don't want my paper route back, Randy.
What do you mean? You used to love that paper route. Here.
I don't love anything anymore, Randy.
Mr. Leahy, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't. But I said.
I'm gonna get this one. You suck. I was aiming for that cup. Okay. I wonder what Jacob is doing right now. Knowing those ways, he's probably in a strip club getting titty shots. Jacob would piss his pants and go into convulsions if he got a titty shot. Yeah. Shots. Here, Mom. What do you think about how, like, your dad used to really love titty shots and, like, when I was still working at the Aristocrat, when I was dancing there, once he ordered 47 just to, like, impress me. That worked. Bruce, you promised. I know. Let's go wasted, girls. What?
Hello. Hey. Lucy.
Barb, you look like a girl who wants to have a shiny together.
No, I couldn't.
Come on, Barbie.
Errands to do. I just dropped by to bring you the marriage license.
Barb's been really great through this whole Ricky ordeal. Like, without her, I don't know what Trin and the baby and I would have done. Honestly, she's been a fucking star.
Why is Lucy being so nice to Barb? Like, yeah, I know. Barb said Lucy could stay in the park for as long as she wants to. Well, that's Lucy. What about the rest of us who've lived here our entire lives? We're just supposed to leave the park. Barb is a straight up...
I won't kill you.
No. One shot leads to a whole bottle, and then I am back in the prison in Yarmouth.
Finger blasting for cigarettes.
I'm on the patch, Sarah. Being in jail was fun at times, I'm not gonna lie, but when something major happens, like Ricky getting shot, you realize who your friends are and why. And Candy and Donna, not my friends. What matters to me now is this park. Hi, Jim.
What do we owe the pleasure, Barb?
Well, I wanted to bring you this. It's 51% ownership of the park. It is rightfully yours, Jim.
I don't know, Barb.
Jim, are you sure?
Look, my life's perfect right here. I don't need...
Well, if you're sure, good luck. Jim, I am so sorry for my part in all of this. I never should have threatened you the way I did.
Sorry, Barb. You were right. Men shouldn't keep secrets.
Roll one of these while driving, smoking, and eating a bucket of chicken, for fuck's sake. I give up. I can't do it.
I miss that white boy. Not me.
Give me that shit. I'll do it, man. Please, T. Thank you. All feel man.
Man, it's depressing. I ain't feel like this since, remember the Green Mile when that big bald motherfucker had bugs coming on him most?
Yo,
The
shit.
same fella.
That movie is killing, man.
Fucking rice.
Bubs, get over here and do some shots, man. You're depressing the fuck out of us.
Oh, fuck. Pardon me, Julian. Pardon me, I didn't know we were having... Here.
Bubbles, you ain't having no troubles. Slow down the liquor, dog.
I'm letting the liquor do the thinking. Isn't that what lazy does? Hey, am I lazy, drunk?
You're getting there.
Okay, maybe I should just start pissing all over.
No. Don't be pissing in my bar, Bubs. Pull up your fly. Bubs, pull up your fucking fly.
I'll piss wherever the fuck I want to piss.
Yeah, best man, dude.
Yeah. Take it, get back here, man. Drinks in the house, buddy. Get out your wallet. You're paying for these.
Why am I paying for them? Because the best man pays for drinks, he pays for gay dudes, he pays for everything. Probably pay for my own death or something.
Gay dudes? What are you talking about, gay dudes?
Hey, man, he wants a bunch of guys to come over and give him lap dances and strip.
I don't think I asked for that, Corey.
Corey, that doesn't even fucking make sense. Why would the man want to sit around and smash pissers on his stag party?
I don't know, man. I don't judge. I didn't ask.
Corey, you're the worst best man I've ever seen in my life. Hey, Tony, is the one working tonight? What's her name? The one that gets the grinding going real good? Yeah. They are? Right on. Okay, send them over.
Ray, Jacob about to get his wood carved, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Get a wood carved. He means his bird.
Suppose you have to say anything to you, Ricky. I want to get something off my chest. It's not an apology. I'm not saying I'm sorry or anything, but I mean, the truth is, you never had a fucking chance. Shit apple does not fall apart. You know, Ricky, sometimes it's not quite clear what you do. I mean, life is a strange fucking kettle of shitfish. Like, why, your mom left us anything after you were born. Why your father and I were more than fucking enemies. And why I made your life miserable ever since you were just a little boy. Because, I mean, things like this should only happen in the Bible. A man shoots his only son. You're sick. Smoke this when you're feeling better. Oh, look at that, Ricky. Someone sent you a fucking joint, bud. Isn't that something? Father and son fucking dope. And me drinking milk. Well, Ricky, here's a toast to you, bud. To my only son. Hey. Looks like the liquor wins, bud. Fucking piece of shit.
Corey, get the fucking dirty old meat trays off the father of the bride.
Well, you said to put it somewhere they won't get it.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna put it right on him. Use your... And you got honey mustard on his cummerbund. I'm trying to make him look presentable here. Where's your fucking brains?
Thanks, Bubbles.
George, the meat is for Fred or neither.
I'm sorry. I don't need the meat anyway. Any vegetables around? Other than, you know. Go ahead. Go ahead. Assault a police officer. Ruined Trin's wedding.
What the fuck are you even doing here? Nobody wants you here.
Well, you know, just here to offer some support to Lucy in these troubling times. She might need a shoulder to cry on a little later. She's drunk.
Greasy bastard. So, you look good, bud.
Oh my God, you look beautiful, Trent. I'm so proud of you, sweetie. Ricky would have been too.
I know.
Good, how are you? Oh, Trinity, you look so beautiful. Are you nervous, honey?
Not really.
Bart.
Julian,
Can I talk to you for a second, please?
Julian, I really don't think that we have very much to say to each other.
Look, I'm sorry, all right? And I know you have every right to evict everybody involved. I take full blame for everything. So please, don't ruin everyone else's lives because you're pissed off at me. Evict me, okay? Let everybody else stay. Please.
Julian, come on. Let's go. I want to get married.
All set, sweetie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get this show on the road, okay? So everyone knows that Rick's not really into big churchy weddings, and so Trin and I thought we'd keep things short and simple. J-Rock? T?
3, 4. Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. Here she comes. Oh, here comes the bride. Here she comes.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in holy matrimony and...
Oh, sorry, is this bad time? I just need 1 second. I gotta switch out the bedpans. Usually we'd use a catheter, but this guy's got a huge urethra. We call him the garden hose.
Okay.
Whoa, that is a lot of piss. Just get the fucking thing. Sorry. Carry on.
Right, where were we? Jacob, do you take Trinity to...
I guess I could. I was really hoping to marry her, though. Isn't that what we're here for?
Just say yes, Jacob.
Yes.
Good. And Trinity, do you take Jacob to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
Good. Corey, may I have the rings, please?
Oh, yeah, they're right here. Good.
Corey, the fucking wedding rings.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. I left them in the same place.
Where the fuck is that?
In trailer park.
Oh, cool.
We need the fucking things now, Corey.
You want me to go get them?
Well, could we use those?
Well, technically, I suppose they are actually rings. Right. And... Oh, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
If Ricky was awake, he'd light this big dirty bastard up, and he'd say, let's fucking party all day, and that's what we're doing. We're partying with Ricky all day. That's for you, old buddy. What's that?
Pops, the smoke is probably fucking up the machines, man.
I don't think it was. Huh? Sounds like he's clacking.
Clacking?
I think he's clacking. Clacking's this thing that fellas can do. You know, you get your hips going like that. You know, and your units going like that. Clack, clack, clack all over the place. And Ricky was the best one at it. Nobody could out-clack Ricky. I mean, you tell him any top 40 song, he could clack it right to you. On key. He is clacking. The dope's making his brain open right up quick. Let's go. Pull up the hose. We'll reverse hook him.
Big holes, folks, big holes. He's still doing it. Let's go, everybody. Blow into it, let's go. Ricky! Rick!
Ricky!
Oh, fuck, that's killer weed.
Ricky's awake! Ricky!
Oh my God, what the fuck is going on here? Fuck.
Ricky was gone long ago, man. You've been in a coma for 3 weeks, buddy. No brain activity at all, Ricky. You just needed a jump starting like an old truck. Ricky!
What the fuck are you doing? What are you hugging me for?
Why am I hugging you? Because I love you. There, I said it.
You love me? What do you mean you love me? Are you crying?
I love you, Ricky. I love you like your brother. I don't like you at all, but people say that you don't really know what you have until it's gone, and maybe it almost took you being gone for me to realize it, but I love you.
Randy, you better calm the fuck down.
In fact, I love all of you. We get in these stupid friggin' fights over stupid little things, and sometimes it makes us forget about the bigger picture, the bigger things in life. You know, Emily, whether you like it or not.
This is a beautiful speech, Randy. Very beautiful.
Come on, Barb, what do you say? Can we just make Sunnyvale like it used to be?
Please, Barb, don't evict us.
I don't know. Sunnyvale needs a fresh start.
You're right, it does need a fresh start, but this is Sunnyvale here, Barb. Give them all a fresh start. Come on. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, consider it. But under
certain conditions.
Right. Oh my God, is my daughter married? Well, let's go back to Sunnyvale and get high and drunk as fuck. We got a wedding reception to put on here.
There's a voice on calling me down the road where I always seem to be. And every stop I make, I see my old friend. It ain't long till I get spun round and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow down, but it ain't tomorrow, so I keep moving on. I'm down a road that never seems to end, full of track lines and rails and lies around each bend. So if you're gonna join me, better grab your hat. You know I live like that kind of hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. It ain't tomorrow, so this old world's still my home. And I got my own world waiting to unfold. In a Ziploc bag where I can drag out this worn down soul. I made it through so far, so I know it won't be long. I must be almost there, already paid my fare with this hobo song. And maybe tomorrow, my God will help me settle down. But it ain't, guess I'll keep moving on.
On exotic animals. Ricky wished for a majestic snow tiger, but practically acknowledged the impossibility of acquiring one in their rural province. Finally, Jacob experienced a sudden flash of brilliance. He suggested a horse. Ricky was astounded by the simple perfection of the idea. A horse was beautiful, grand, and undeniably impressive. Corey then elevated the concept by suggesting that the horse should serve as an extravagant gift for Susan, pairing the grand presentation with a formal proposal of marriage. Ricky, swept up in the romantic magnitude of the plan, agreed wholeheartedly. He declared it the perfect way to demonstrate his boundless love and commitment, ignoring Corey's bizarre suggestion to attach a decorative horn to the animal to simulate a mythical creature. Meanwhile, Leahy and Randy were walking back toward their home, quietly discussing their newfound wealth. Randy expressed deep concern about Julian, knowing that Julian felt they were personally responsible for his past financial ruin. Randy feared that Julian would relentlessly pursue them for compensation. Leahy, feeling confident and wealthy, suggested they offer Julian half of their silent settlement money to wipe the slate clean and finally achieve lasting peace in the neighborhood. They swore an oath never to reveal the true origin of the funds, prioritizing their safety and harmony. Ricky, Corey, and Jacob had somehow managed to procure a large, remarkably calm horse. They struggled awkwardly to guide the massive animal through the narrow pathways of the community. Ricky constantly shushed his friends, demanding absolute quiet to preserve the surprise. Jacob, unfortunately positioned behind the animal, received a sudden, forceful kick to his chest, aggravating the injuries he had sustained during their woodland escape the previous night. Ricky felt a profound wave of guilt, realizing once again that his grand plans often caused unintended suffering for those he cared about. He urged Jacob to seek medical attention, but Jacob bravely refused, prioritizing the success of Ricky's special moment over his own discomfort. Bubbles, unaware of the equine complications, was busy delivering his crafted beverages in a brightly painted cart outfitted with a cheerful sound system. His business was bringing joy to the residents, though he occasionally had to deal with highly agitated customers like Donnie, who possessed an incredibly short temper and frequently shouted about minor inconveniences. Bubbles expertly managed the situation, offering complimentary beverages to soothe Donnie's volatile emotions, marveling at how exhausting it must be to live with such constant anger. When Leahy and Randy finally arrived at the community, they were immediately confronted by an incredibly tense and angry Julian. Julian fiercely blamed them for the immense hardships he had endured while they were incarcerated, accusing them of completely derailing his life. He aggressively demanded that they surrender half of their future wages to him indefinitely as restitution. Randy, terrified by the confrontation, tried to apologize, but Leahy stepped forward, attempting to negotiate a peaceful resolution. Before Leahy could propose their generous financial offer, Julian firmly established his dominance, leaving the two men feeling trapped and desperate. The afternoon sun began to dip, signaling the start of Ricky's highly anticipated gathering. A large crowd of friends and neighbors had assembled, enjoying the music and the overflowing supply of Bubbles' delicious beverages. Ricky stepped up to a makeshift wooden podium, his heart pounding with nervous excitement. He warmly thanked everyone for attending, declaring that the day marked a beautiful new chapter in his life. He signaled for Corey and Jacob, who dramatically emerged from behind a nearby trailer, carefully leading the majestic horse into the center of the gathering. The crowd fell into a stunned silence. Bubbles stared in utter disbelief, questioning the logic of presenting a massive farm animal as a declaration of love. Ricky, entirely blind to the absurdity of the situation, proudly announced that the beautiful creature was a gift for the absolute love of his life, Susan, and that he intended to ask for her hand in marriage. Julian, watching from the sidelines, felt a deep sense of dread. He pulled Ricky aside, desperately trying to inject some rationality into the highly emotional moment. He argued that Ricky and Susan were fundamentally incompatible, constantly engaged in exhausting verbal battles. He insisted that true love did not require extravagant, impractical gifts to validate its existence. Julian pleaded with Ricky to return the animal and reconsider the massive commitment. Ricky, however, remained steadfast in his romantic conviction. He genuinely believed that the depth of his passion for Susan would eventually conquer all of their profound interpersonal difficulties. He conceded that perhaps the horse was a slight exaggeration, but he maintained that the true focus of the day was his sincere desire to build a permanent family. Just as Ricky prepared to make his formal proposal, Susan arrived. The atmosphere instantly shifted from romantic anticipation to explosive volatility. Susan marched straight toward Ricky, her face flushed with intense anger. Without a moment of hesitation, she launched into a furious verbal assault, accusing Ricky of profound betrayal and dishonesty. She claimed that his reckless behavior had caused her severe personal and health complications, demanding an immediate end to their relationship. Ricky stood completely paralyzed, his grand romantic gesture crumbling into dust before his eyes. He desperately tried to defend his honor, swearing on his life that he had remained entirely faithful and devoted to her since the day they met. The argument escalated rapidly in front of the stunned community. The exchange of harsh accusations revealed deep-seated insecurities and a toxic lack of trust between them. Susan brutally criticized Ricky's lifestyle, his lack of steady employment, and his eccentric wardrobe, ultimately declaring him a complete failure. With a final, dismissive insult, she turned and walked away, leaving Ricky standing alone beside the confused horse. Julian stepped forward, gently placing a supportive hand on Ricky's shoulder, assuring him that the painful separation was ultimately a necessary step toward a healthier future. Ricky, feeling profoundly defeated and heartbroken, declined the offer to socialize, choosing instead to retreat into quiet solitude. In the aftermath of the chaotic party, Leahy and Randy retreated to their quiet home. Randy was deeply distressed by the harsh financial terms Julian had imposed upon them. However, Leahy, fueled by a renewed sense of cunning and a small celebratory drink, revealed a highly risky strategy. He proposed that instead of giving their secret settlement money directly to Julian, they would take the funds to the local equestrian racing track. He believed they could easily multiply their wealth through careful wagering, allowing them to slowly pay off Julian's demands while maintaining a comfortable lifestyle. It was a dangerous gamble, but one they felt compelled to take. As the night settled over the quiet trailers, Bubbles gathered Julian and Ricky by a small, crackling campfire. The air was cool, and the heavy events of the day lingered in their minds. Bubbles looked at his two oldest friends, his expression a mixture of deep love and profound seriousness. He announced that he had been carrying a heavy burden in his heart for a long time, and he finally needed to share it. He began by assuring them of his unconditional, lifelong affection. Bubbles then asked them to truly, deeply reflect on their current circumstances. He urged them to look honestly in the mirror and acknowledge the undeniable passage of time. He pointed out that they were no longer carefree youths. They were growing older, their bodies were tired, and their continuous reliance on reckless, illegal schemes was yielding nothing but disappointment and prolonged periods of incarceration. He emphasized that absolutely no one was benefiting from their chaotic lifestyle. He passionately explained that he had successfully transitioned into a completely legitimate, honest profession, and it had brought him a profound sense of peace and stability. He warned them that their current path would inevitably lead to a lonely, desolate future, far away from the warmth of family and true friendship. Bubbles' words hung in the quiet night air, carrying the weight of absolute truth. He pleaded with them, stating that if they truly valued their brotherhood, they must permanently abandon their illegal pursuits and embrace a life of integrity. He asked them to spend the night quietly contemplating his words, leaving them with a small measure of comforting spirits to aid their reflection. As the fire crackled, Ricky and Julian sat in thoughtful silence, finally realizing that the time for childish games had ended, and a new, responsible chapter of their lives desperately needed to begin. Ricky stood alone under the vast night sky, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment wash over him. This was a very significant. The other side of the community, Bubbles was experiencing a remarkably different kind of morning. He stood proudly in his neatly organized workspace, beaming with joy as he surveyed his latest creation. He had successfully transitioned from fixing shopping carts to a completely new and honest profession. He had sold his famous, closely guarded pizza sauce recipe to a visiting culinary entrepreneur and wisely reinvested every single penny into building a miniature craft beverage brewery. The operation had started slowly, but through dedication and hard work, he was now generating a steady, respectable income. He proudly displayed his signature creation, a deeply flavorful, earthy root beverage that was selling tremendously well among the local residents. Business was thriving, but Bubbles felt a heavy sense of urgency pressing down on him that particular day. Ricky was planning to make a major, life-altering announcement later that afternoon and had requested that Bubbles supply 22 large crates of his finest crafted beverage for the massive party. Bubbles worked tirelessly, bottling the amber liquid, assuming that Ricky must have truly incredible news to share with everyone. Julian walked over to Bubbles' workspace, observing the busy scene with a mixture of curiosity and hidden desperation. He greeted Bubbles warmly, asking how the new business was treating him. Bubbles enthusiastically replied that it was absolutely wonderful, noting how much more fulfilling it was compared to his previous, exhausting labor. Julian, always looking for a new angle, praised the quality of the beverage and quickly proposed an idea. He suggested that Bubbles should create a special edition drink bearing his name and muscular likeness, perhaps marketing it as a high-protein fitness beverage. Bubbles found the idea mildly amusing but remained cautious. Julian then began probing deeper, inquiring about the specific sales figures and profit margins. Bubbles immediately sensed the familiar, calculating tone in his friend's voice. He knew exactly what was happening. Now that his honest business was flourishing, Julian suddenly wanted to be involved. Bubbles gently but firmly told Julian to stop using complicated business terminology he had clearly learned from watching television programs about wealthy investors. Julian finally admitted his difficult truth. He confessed that he was completely out of money and feeling incredibly lost. He explained that he was genuinely trying to live a legitimate life, but the transition was proving to be immensely difficult. He recounted a humbling experience from the previous evening when he had invited a companion over to watch a film, and he was deeply embarrassed because he could not even afford to purchase a simple bag of popcorn. Bubbles listened with sympathy but also a touch of frustration. He reminded Julian that learning to budget was a necessary part of leading a responsible life. Despite his frustration, Bubbles' kind heart prevailed, and he handed Julian a small amount of cash to help him through the day, though he firmly refused to let Julian turn it into a regular habit of accepting charity. Across the park, Ricky was nursing his bruised ego and several physical scrapes from the disastrous night in the forest. He had recently entered into a relationship with a woman named Susan, and for the past 4 months, he had found genuine happiness. He realized how much he had missed having a dedicated partner to share his daily life with. Their relationship was intensely passionate, though frequently turbulent. Ricky felt that his connection with Susan was so strong that it motivated him to better himself and improve his health, recognizing that he had neglected his well-being for far too long. Bubbles observed their dynamic with a protective eye. He was genuinely happy that Ricky had found companionship, but he silently worried about the chaotic nature of their constant disagreements and how deeply Susan seemed to influence Ricky's decision-making. When Bubbles saw the severe scratches on Ricky's arm, he immediately asked what had happened, fearing that another fierce argument with Susan had occurred. Ricky quickly fabricated a story. He claimed that he, Corey, and Jacob had been engaging in an adventurous sport involving skates and uneven terrain. He described how they were moving at a high speed when they unexpectedly hit a treacherous patch of loose gravel, resulting in a dramatic and painful fall. He insisted that Jacob had suffered the brunt of the impact. Ricky's teenage daughter, who had just walked in, immediately noticed the truth hidden beneath her father's flimsy excuse. She pointed out that the marks on Jacob's chest looked suspiciously like the aftermath of a dangerous encounter, not a simple recreational accident. Cornered by his family and best friends, Ricky finally broke down and confessed the heavy secret he had been carrying all summer. He admitted that he had not been attending the small engine repair certification classes or the heavy machinery operation courses as he had promised them. Instead, he had been secretly cultivating a massive garden of medicinal plants in a hidden valley, partnering with an expert botanist to develop an incredibly valuable harvest. He described the irrigation system and the sheer beauty of the tall, thriving plants. His daughter expressed profound disappointment, reminding him of his solemn promise to abandon illegal activities. Ricky apologized sincerely, his voice heavy with regret. He explained that he had a single, incredibly lucrative opportunity that would have secured his financial independence for the rest of his life. He confessed that he had brought Corey and Jacob along to help with the final harvest, only to have a rival group ambush them, steal the entire crop, and chase them out of the woods. The revelation sent a shockwave of frustration through the room. They reprimanded him for recklessly endangering his own life and the lives of Corey and Jacob. Ricky, overwhelmed by the loss of his dream, declared that he was incredibly close to securing a perfect life and vowed to find those responsible. His family firmly demanded that he let it go, insisting that the dangerous chapter must remain closed. They assumed that his big, highly anticipated announcement was going to be about this failed venture. Ricky, defensive and desperate to save face, adamantly denied it. He insisted that his grand announcement had absolutely nothing to do with the lost garden. He maintained that he still needed all the beverages from Bubbles because the news he was about to share was truly magnificent and life-changing. His friends remained highly skeptical, but Ricky stubbornly doubled down, shouting that a massive, wonderful surprise was still on the horizon. Far away from the quiet community, Mr. Leahy and his loyal companion Randy were experiencing a momentous day of their own. They were finally being released from a lengthy stay at the local correctional facility. Leahy reflected on the hardships they had endured, noting that the difficult time had actually stripped away their superficial concerns and brought them closer together. He cherished his deep bond with Randy, feeling that their mutual support had been their salvation. As they prepared to walk out into the free world, a corrupt local official named Ted intercepted them. Ted carried an intimidating presence and a hidden agenda. He informed them that the massive sum of $400,000, which was supposed to be securely logged into the official evidence room and transferred to the state treasury, had instead been quietly diverted. Ted explained that his department was desperately underfunded, needing new computer systems, forensic equipment, and patrol vehicles. He had unilaterally decided to keep the seized funds to upgrade his station. Ted offered Leahy and Randy a substantial portion of the money, amounting to roughly $50,000, in exchange for their absolute permanent silence on the matter. He subtly threatened to fabricate new reasons to keep them incarcerated if they refused. Leahy and Randy, eager to reclaim their freedom and secure a financial cushion, enthusiastically agreed to the terms, promising never to speak a word of the illicit transaction. Back at the park, Ricky was proudly showcasing the impressive wooden deck he had constructed entirely on his own. It was a sturdy, beautifully crafted addition to his modest home, complete with comfortable seating, a high-quality sound system, and a perfectly positioned reading lamp. He even built a small, specialized sleeping area for his beloved grandson. Ricky felt like a true king standing on his elevated platform, basking in the genuine compliments from Corey and Jacob, who marveled at his craftsmanship. Despite the pride in his handiwork, Ricky's mind was racing with anxiety about his impending announcement. He desperately needed a spectacular idea to live up to the massive expectations he had set. He turned to Corey and Jacob for inspiration. Corey wildly suggested that Ricky fake his own disappearance, an idea Ricky immediately dismissed as completely illogical. Jacob proposed that Ricky run for a high political office, which Ricky found equally absurd given his lack of qualifications. Ricky stressed that he needed something incredibly impressive, something large and physical that he could present to the crowd. They brainstormed various large objects, briefly considering construction equipment before focusing on actions in the mirror recently. He urged them to examine their lives with profound honesty. He pointed out the undeniable truth that they were all growing older. The days of reckless youth and endless second chances were slowly fading behind them. He noted that they were not taking care of themselves physically or emotionally, and the toll was becoming visible. He spoke with passionate conviction, pointing out that they were still engaging in the same irresponsible behaviors they had practiced in their teenage years. He emphasized that absolutely nothing was changing for the better, and nobody was benefiting from their continuous cycle of questionable decisions. Ricky softly interjected, mentioning his failed botanical garden as an attempt at progress. Bubbles gently but firmly corrected him. He reminded Ricky that the garden was not a legitimate retirement plan, but rather another risky scheme built on deception. He stressed that Ricky should never have hidden his activities from his family and friends. Ricky nodded in humble agreement, openly admitting his foolishness and offering a sincere apology to Bubbles and Julian. Bubbles accepted the apology but continued his impassioned plea. He declared that this moment must serve as a profound awakening for all of them. He proudly stated that he had successfully transitioned to a completely legitimate and honest lifestyle. He was building a real business with his own hands, and it was bringing him peace and stability. He expressed his deep fear for the future of his two best friends. He knew their patterns intimately. He understood that their current lack of financial resources would inevitably lead to desperate choices. He warned them that if they continued on their current path, they would eventually face permanent consequences, losing their freedom forever. He painted a heartbreaking picture of a lonely future, separated from their community and the people who cared for them. He emphasized that in those final, difficult moments of life, true comfort comes from the presence of family and genuine friends, not from fleeting schemes or hidden wealth. Bubbles concluded his speech with a powerful ultimatum born of pure love. He told Ricky and Julian that if they truly cared for him as much as they claimed, they must completely and permanently abandon their unlawful behaviors. The cycle had to end immediately. He asked them to spend the rest of the evening reflecting deeply on his words and the beautiful potential of an honest life. The night settled peacefully over the trailer park. Ricky sat alone on his beautifully crafted wooden deck, the gentle breeze rustling the leaves of the nearby trees. He thought about Susan, the magnificent horse, and the painful but necessary truth he had faced. He thought about his daughter, Trinity, and her simple desire for a stable father. Most importantly, he thought about the incredibly wise and loving words of Bubbles. He realized that true success was not found in secretive gardens or grand, unrealistic gestures, but in the quiet dignity of honest work and the unwavering support of true friends. He looked up at the stars, feeling a new, profound sense of hope for the beautiful, legitimate chapters of life that were waiting to be written. The morning sun rose, casting a warm golden light over the community. The events of the previous day felt like a distant, chaotic dream, replaced by a sense of calm determination. Bubbles was already awake, meticulously cleaning his brewing equipment, preparing for another day of honest enterprise. His heart felt light, knowing he had spoken his truth and planted the seeds of positive change in the minds of his dearest friends. Julian awoke with a clear mind. The financial settlement offered by Mr. Leahy and Randy had provided him with a much-needed safety net. But more importantly, the speech from Bubbles had resonated deeply within his soul. He looked around his sparse living space and realized that he desired more than just survival. He wanted a life of genuine substance and respectability. He decided he would visit Bubbles later that day, not to ask for charity or shortcuts, but to genuinely inquire about learning a trade or perhaps offering honest labor to assist with the growing artisanal beverage business. Ricky descended the wooden stairs of his perfectly constructed deck. He felt a satisfying soreness in his muscles, a reminder of the hard work he had put into building something real and enduring with his own hands. He walked toward the center of the park, feeling a strange but welcome sense of freedom. The burden of maintaining secrets and constantly looking over his shoulder had been lifted. He saw Mr. Leahy and Randy enjoying a peaceful morning walk, their faces relaxed and happy. He offered them a polite nod, acknowledging the new era of tranquility that seemed to have settled over everyone. Ricky found Bubbles near his transport vehicle, carefully organizing his inventory. Ricky approached his friend with a genuine, gentle smile. He did not speak immediately, simply helping Bubbles lift a heavy box of supplies. After a moment of comfortable silence, Ricky spoke. He thanked Bubbles for his honesty the previous night. He admitted that the truth was difficult to hear, but absolutely necessary. He declared that his days of chasing impossible schemes were officially over. He expressed a desire to focus on his family, perhaps finally complete those small engine repair courses, and use his natural talent for building and fixing things to earn an honest living. Bubbles smiled, his eyes crinkling with deep joy and relief. He patted Ricky on the shoulder, expressing his immense pride. He knew the road ahead would require patience and dedication, but for the first time in their long history together, he felt a profound certainty that they were all finally moving in the right direction. The three friends, bound by years of shared history and a renewed commitment to personal growth, stood together under the bright morning sky, ready to embrace the simple, beautiful rewards of a life lived with honesty, integrity, and enduring love. The evening air was thick with a palpable sense of anticipation as Ricky stood at the edge of the dense tree line. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what he believed to be a truly monumental night resting squarely on his weary but hopeful shoulders. For the very first time in his eventful life, he had orchestrated an agricultural venture entirely on his own, and he was absolutely certain it was about to pay off in a magnificent way. He stood there, looking up at the stars, reflecting on how his past endeavors had always seemed to unravel. He often placed the blame on his dearest friends, Julian and Bubbles, feeling that their combined chaotic energies always derailed his plans. But this time was different. He had finally taken the time to educate himself, poring over books and learning the intricate science of plant cultivation. He realized that if he wanted something done perfectly, he had to take the reins and do it himself. Corey and Jacob stood loyally behind him, their faces illuminated by the pale moonlight filtering through the canopy of leaves. They eagerly voiced their unwavering support, reminding Ricky that they always had his back. Ricky, feeling the intense pressure of the moment, sharply instructed them to remain completely silent. He explained that he had secured an incredible, entirely legitimate distribution deal with a local herbal dispensary in the city of Halifax. The arrangement promised a substantial cash return, enough to allow him to retire from his life of reckless schemes forever. He imagined the peace he would finally have. He knew that Julian and Bubbles might feel a twinge of resentment if they discovered he had built this enterprise in secret. To smooth things over, his grand plan was to host a massive, joyful celebration for the entire community. In his heart, he firmly believed that a wonderful party could mend any hurt feelings. Ricky outlined the plan to his loyal companions. They were to proceed quietly past the final cluster of pine trees. Once they reached the hidden garden, there would be no room for distractions. They needed to harvest the mature plants with the utmost speed and efficiency, ensuring they were completely finished and safely away before the morning sun crested the horizon. Corey and Jacob expressed their enthusiastic agreement, thanking Ricky profusely for allowing them to be part of such a significant harvest. However, the tranquility of the forest was suddenly shattered. A loud, sharp noise echoed through the woods, freezing the three men in their tracks. Panic instantly set in. Corey frantically asked if the authorities had discovered them. Ricky, straining his eyes in the darkness, realized it was a group of rival foragers wielding tools to intimidate them. The situation dissolved into immediate chaos. The rivals shouted, demanding they leave the premises. Ricky, Corey, and Jacob turned and sprinted through the dense underbrush, their grand dreams collapsing around them as they scrambled for safety. Ricky felt a profound wave of disappointment crash over him. It seemed as though the universe was once again conspiring to keep him from achieving a simple, peaceful life. He cursed his terrible luck, feeling deeply defeated. Meanwhile, the horse shifted suddenly, causing Jacob to stumble backward. Jacob rubbed his neck, feeling a deep ache from the awkward movement. He expressed his concern that he might have strained a muscle. Ricky apologized sincerely for the mishap. He realized that the situation was not proceeding smoothly and decided it was best to leave the area quietly and safely. Jacob felt a lingering pain in his chest and worried about his ribs, but Ricky offered comforting words, suggesting that a bit of rest would resolve the issue. Ricky reflected internally, wondering why he always involved his well-meaning but clumsy friends in such delicate operations, but he appreciated their loyal presence nonetheless. Bubbles was busy managing his flourishing delivery service. He had carefully loaded his small, charming transport vehicle with cases of his green bastard ale. He ensured that his promotional equipment, including a colorful cape and a small speaker playing cheerful music, was securely attached. He proudly compared his operation to a joyful neighborhood ice cream truck, but specifically catering to adult craft beverage enthusiasts. He noted that his sales were excellent and that a local resident named Donnie was his most frequent customer. Bubbles arrived at the residence of Donnie to make a delivery. Donnie emerged, visibly upset about the condition of the road near his home, claiming that the recent addition of gravel was causing inconvenience. Bubbles responded with incredible patience and outstanding customer service. He calmly offered Donnie a complimentary case of his artisanal ale to apologize for any frustration caused by the community infrastructure. Donnie, still slightly agitated, demanded that Ricky replace some food items that had gone missing the previous week. Bubbles maintained his peaceful demeanor, urging Donnie to relax and enjoy the upcoming celebration. As he drove away, Bubbles reflected on the immense physical and emotional toll that constant anger must take on a person, feeling grateful for his own peaceful and productive life. Back at the park entrance, Julian confronted Mr. Leahy and Randy. He was deeply resentful of the trouble they had caused him in the past and demanded a harsh financial penalty. He declared his intention to claim half of their future earnings indefinitely as compensation for his perceived losses. Mr. Leahy and Randy listened patiently to his angry demands. Instead of reacting with hostility, they maintained a calm and respectful posture. They acknowledged that their past actions had created chaos and sincerely apologized for the difficulties Julian had endured. They presented their generous counteroffer. They proposed a substantial, immediate financial settlement that would completely erase all past debts and grievances. Julian was momentarily stunned by their calm demeanor and the sudden prospect of significant financial relief. The tension in the air began to dissipate as the possibility of a peaceful resolution emerged. The time for the grand celebration finally arrived. The park was filled with cheerful music and happy neighbors. Ricky took the stage, feeling a surge of nervous excitement. He greeted the crowd warmly, thanking them for gathering to share in his joy. He announced that the day marked a monumental occasion in his life. He signaled to Corey and Jacob, who proudly led the magnificent horse into the center of the gathering. The crowd gasped in absolute astonishment. Bubbles and Julian exchanged looks of profound confusion. Bubbles questioned the logic of bringing a massive agricultural animal to a social gathering. Ricky, his eyes shining with pure sincerity, explained his deeply romantic intention. He declared his profound love for Susan and announced his plan to present the beautiful horse to her as a symbol of his unwavering commitment, culminating in a proposal of marriage. Julian, concerned for his friend, approached Ricky quietly. He advised Ricky that true love does not require extravagant gifts or grand, theatrical gestures. He suggested that if Susan genuinely loved him, she would accept him exactly as he was, without the need for a horse. Bubbles echoed this sentiment, expressing his concern about the turbulent nature of Ricky and Susan's relationship. He gently pointed out that their interactions were often filled with unnecessary conflict and urged Ricky to reconsider the massive commitment. Ricky listened to his friends but remained steadfast in his romantic conviction. He believed that their strong passion could overcome any communication difficulties. He admitted that the horse might be an unconventional gift, but he sincerely wanted to demonstrate the immense scale of his affection. He felt that the true significance of the day was not the animal, but the promise of a shared future. Bubbles and Julian, seeing the genuine hope in his eyes, offered their supportive, albeit cautious, congratulations. They simply wanted their friend to find true happiness. Suddenly, Susan arrived at the gathering. The atmosphere instantly shifted. Instead of radiating joy, she appeared deeply distressed and furiously angry. She approached Ricky and immediately launched a barrage of severe accusations. She claimed that Ricky had been unfaithful and had transmitted a terrible, uncomfortable infection to her. She loudly blamed him for her physical discomfort and the subsequent disruption of her living situation. Ricky was completely bewildered and deeply hurt by her public accusations. He desperately tried to calm her down, pleading with her to listen to reason. He swore with absolute sincerity that he had been entirely faithful to her. He expressed his deep devotion, stating that he only had eyes for her and would never jeopardize their relationship. He revealed that he had gathered everyone there specifically to ask for her hand in marriage. Susan scoffed at his declaration. In a moment of painful honesty, she confessed that she was the one who had been involved with another person. She admitted that her own actions were the source of the terrible infection, not his. She callously insulted Ricky, criticizing his intelligence, his appearance, and his lifestyle. She cruelly labeled him a failure and officially ended their relationship in front of the entire community. Ricky stood in stunned silence as she walked away. The grand romantic gesture had collapsed into a heartbreaking public humiliation. Julian gently placed a comforting hand on Ricky's shoulder, softly advising him to let her go. He assured Ricky that the painful separation was ultimately for the best, and that he deserved someone who would treat him with true respect and kindness. Ricky nodded slowly, the realization settling into his heart. He declined offers of immediate consolation, preferring to sit quietly and process the immense emotional shift. Meanwhile, Mr. Leahy and Randy were quietly discussing their new financial strategy. Having settled their differences with Julian, they felt a sense of boundless optimism. Mr. Leahy enthusiastically proposed a plan to increase their wealth through careful investments at the local equestrian racing track. He believed that with patience and observation, they could multiply their funds and secure a beautiful, comfortable future together. He spoke warmly of the simple pleasures they could enjoy, like sharing a meal at the track canteen. Randy smiled, fully supporting the vision of his dearest companion. The party slowly resumed its festive atmosphere, though the mood was more reflective. Bubbles sat near his neatly stacked cases of artisanal ale, feeling a profound sense of clarity. He recognized that while the day had been chaotic and filled with unexpected heartbreak, he had managed to run his business successfully and honestly. He felt a deep sense of pride in his legitimate accomplishments. Julian approached Bubbles, holding a single, empty bottle. He humbly asked if he could borrow a few beverages, explaining that he had a guest arriving and wanted to offer her a polite refreshment. Bubbles felt a familiar wave of frustration. He reminded Julian that creating the beverages required significant financial investment, hard labor, and careful planning. The product was not simply free material to be distributed without thought. However, seeing the genuine struggle in Julian's eyes, Bubbles relented and provided him with a small supply, asking only for a promise of future repayment. Julian thanked him, but Bubbles felt compelled to address a larger issue. He watched Julian walk away, then looked over at Ricky, who was sitting quietly, staring thoughtfully into the distance. Bubbles realized that a crucial moment of truth had arrived for their lifelong friendship. He gathered Ricky and Julian together, his expression serious and filled with deep, brotherly love. He asked for their undivided attention. He began by affirming his unconditional love for them. He stated clearly that he had always loved them and would continue to love them until the end of his days. Julian and Ricky sincerely echoed his sentiments, confirming their deep mutual affection. Bubbles took a deep breath, preparing to deliver a difficult but necessary message. He asked them if they had truly looked closely at their own reflected to the modest but tidy residence of Bubbles. The morning sun shone brightly over his yard. He greeted his friends warmly and invited them to observe his new, legitimate enterprise. He proudly shared that he had sold his famous family pizza sauce recipe to a kind gentleman with a unique and charming accent. He had wisely reinvested every single penny into crafting artisanal malt beverages. He gestured proudly toward his shining brewing equipment. He explained that the business had started slowly, but through dedication and tireless effort, he was now earning a respectable and honest income. He held up a beautifully labeled bottle of his Green Bastard artisanal ale. He noted with a wide smile that he was providing a large quantity of his carefully crafted beverages to the wonderful residents of the trailer park. He declared confidently that his small business was booming. The demand was high, and he felt a wonderful sense of purpose. However, he admitted that he was under a significant amount of pressure that particular day. Ricky was planning to make a major, uplifting announcement to the community. Ricky was organizing a large celebration and had ordered 22 cases of the artisanal ale. Bubbles deduced that the upcoming news must be incredibly important. He expressed his sheer excitement and enthusiasm for his friend. Julian walked over to observe the impressive setup. He greeted Bubbles warmly and asked how the new business venture was treating him. Bubbles smiled brightly and replied that the experience was absolutely amazing. He found it to be a much more fulfilling and manageable endeavor than his previous struggles. Julian commended him, noting that it was wonderful to see the community thoroughly enjoying the product. Julian rubbed his chin thoughtfully and proposed an idea. He suggested that Bubbles could create a special edition beverage bearing his name and perhaps a strong, athletic theme. He playfully recommended calling it the Muscle Man Ale. Bubbles chuckled and agreed that it was an amusing and creative concept. Julian then inquired about the financial aspects of the operation. He asked Bubbles about his weekly sales figures and whether he was generating a sustainable profit. Bubbles hesitated slightly, sensing a shift in the conversation. He noticed that because he was finally achieving financial stability, Julian was suddenly showing a keen interest in the operational details of the brewery. Bubbles politely asked Julian to refrain from acting aggressively. He correctly guessed that Julian wanted to become a business partner. Julian adopted a serious tone and explained that he simply wanted to ensure Bubbles was managing everything correctly and protecting himself from being taken advantage of by opportunistic individuals. He asked Bubbles if he understood the true valuation of his growing company or the exact profit margins on his weekly sales. Bubbles sighed and requested that Julian not try to confuse him with complex business terminology. Bubbles noted that he also watched educational programs about entrepreneurship and understood the concepts perfectly well. Julian finally admitted the truth of his situation. He confessed to Bubbles that he was experiencing severe financial hardship. He was completely without funds and felt lost about his future. He explained that he was trying diligently to live a legitimate and honest life, but he was finding the transition to be incredibly challenging. He shared a humbling experience from the previous evening. He had invited a lovely woman for a movie date at his home, but he was so impoverished that she had to purchase the snacks herself. He expressed how deeply embarrassing and humbling that moment had been for him. Bubbles listened with genuine empathy. He reminded Julian that he had advised him against trying to live beyond his current means. Julian clarified that they were merely watching a film in his own living room, yet he still could not afford simple microwave popcorn. He reiterated that his situation was truly dire. Bubbles felt a wave of compassion for his longtime friend. He reached into his pocket and offered Julian a small portion of his recent earnings to help him through the difficult week. Julian initially refused, feeling a sense of wounded pride. He stated that he did not want to accept charity. Bubbles gently insisted, pointing out that Julian clearly needed the assistance to regain his footing. Julian accepted the gracious gift and asked if Bubbles had any more to spare. Bubbles smiled patiently and reminded him to appreciate the help he had just received. Meanwhile, Ricky was dealing with the minor injuries from his nighttime tumble. He complained dramatically about the small scratches on his arm, finding them to be quite annoying. Trinity, his daughter, looked at his arm with deep concern and asked how he had sustained such injuries. Ricky decided to tell a creative story to protect his pride. He claimed that he, Corey, and Jacob had been participating in an adventurous new sport called rollerblade skiing. He insisted that they were having a wonderful time gliding along the paths until they unexpectedly encountered a rough patch of gravel. He described how they all lost their balance and fell quite hard onto the unforgiving ground. He noted that Jacob had taken the brunt of the fall and expressed his sympathy for his son-in-law. He rambled slightly, suggesting that city planners should not be allowed to place loose gravel on recreational paths because it posed a hazard to active individuals. Trinity listened to the elaborate tale with a skeptical expression. She pointed out that obtaining rollerblades would require visiting a specialty store, and she playfully questioned where they would have acquired such items. Ricky quickly responded that they had visited a brand new sporting goods shop that had just opened in town. The conversation was interrupted when a family member noticed small stones embedded in the clothing of Jacob. They asked what had truly happened the previous night, suspecting that the rollerblade story was a fabrication. They worriedly suggested that the stones looked like debris from a more dangerous situation. Ricky sighed deeply, realizing that his family deserved the absolute truth. He asked everyone to gather around and offered a sincere apology. He confessed that he had been keeping a significant secret from them throughout the entire summer season. He admitted that he had not been taking his small engine repair certification classes, nor had he been attending the crane operator courses as he had previously claimed. Instead, he had been independently cultivating a large garden of rare botanical herbs in a secluded area near the bluffs. Trinity expressed her profound disappointment, reminding her father that he had promised to pursue traditional education and secure a stable career. Ricky nodded with genuine remorse. He acknowledged his mistake but could not hide his lingering pride in his horticultural achievements. He passionately described how he had developed a robust and beautiful new strain of plants with the guidance of a professional botanist from a reputable medical facility. He spoke of the sophisticated irrigation system he had built and how the 75 plants had grown tall and magnificent under his careful tending. He explained that he had arranged a highly lucrative, entirely cash-based agreement with a legitimate distributor. He told his family that if the harvest had been successful, he would have earned enough money to retire comfortably and provide for all of them indefinitely. However, his voice filled with sorrow as he recounted the events of the previous night. He took full responsibility for inviting Jacob and Corey to assist him. He explained that a group of rival cultivators had discovered his garden. They had arrived with loud deterrents, caused a massive panic, and absconded with his entire beautiful harvest. Trinity was deeply shaken by the revelation. She questioned how he could have placed her husband, the father of her child, in such a precarious and unpredictable situation. Ricky defended himself mildly, stating that Jacob had been eager to participate and learn the agricultural trade. Trinity countered logically, pointing out that Ricky, as the elder and leader, should have exercised better judgment and protected Jacob. She emphasized the importance of safety and family above all financial pursuits. Ricky felt the weight of his actions. He expressed his immense frustration at losing the opportunity for early retirement. He dramatically vowed to discover the identities of the individuals who had taken his plants and hold them accountable. Trinity firmly instructed him to abandon such negative thoughts. She told him that the situation was over, the plants were gone, and he needed to peacefully move forward. She expressed her weariness with his constant pursuit of unconventional schemes and her desire for a calm, normal family life. She assumed that the grand announcement he had planned for the party was entirely related to his failed botanical enterprise. She felt certain that it was just another disappointment. Ricky quickly corrected her. He assured his family that the upcoming major announcement had absolutely nothing to do with the lost garden or any questionable activities. He promised them that it was something entirely different, something incredibly positive, and far more significant than a simple business transaction. Trinity remained slightly doubtful but asked if the large gathering was still taking place. He tried to pull Ricky aside. Julian reasoned with his friend, explaining that true love did not require extravagant, impractical gifts like a live horse. He pointed out that Ricky and Susan had a very turbulent relationship, filled with constant arguments. Bubbles agreed, urging Ricky to return the horse to the farm before things became overly complicated. Ricky listened to his friends but remained steadfast in his romantic conviction. He explained that despite their frequent disagreements, he truly believed their deep connection was strong enough to overcome any obstacle. He admitted that perhaps the horse was a slightly overwhelming gift, but his primary goal was simply to show Susan the vast magnitude of his love and dedication. He told his friends that the true joy of the day was the engagement itself. Julian and Bubbles, seeing the pure, hopeful look in Ricky and his eyes, softened their stance. They offered their tentative congratulations, genuinely wishing for their friend to find true happiness and peace. Just as Ricky prepared to make his formal proposal, Susan arrived at the gathering. However, instead of tears of joy, her face was twisted in absolute fury. She stormed through the crowd and confronted Ricky with intense anger. She accused him of being a terrible, dishonest partner. She yelled that she had contracted a minor illness and blamed him entirely, assuming he had been unfaithful during the times he claimed to be busy. Ricky was completely blindsided. He desperately tried to calm her down, insisting with complete honesty that he had never been with anyone else because he was completely devoted to her. Susan refused to listen, She revealed that she had been forced to leave her living situation because of the constant drama surrounding their relationship. Ricky, heartbroken, looked at her and explained that he had gathered everyone today to present her with a beautiful horse and ask her to become his wife. Susan scoffed at the idea of marriage. She insulted his lifestyle, his home, and his financial status. She called him foolish and irresponsible. The argument escalated quickly, with both of them realizing that their trust was completely broken. Susan declared that their relationship was permanently over and stormed away into the afternoon sun. Ricky stood in silence, the weight of the public rejection settling heavily upon his shoulders. Julian stepped forward and placed a comforting hand on his best friend and his shoulder. He softly told Ricky to let her go, assuring him that this painful separation was ultimately for the best. He reminded Ricky that a relationship built on constant conflict and mistrust would never lead to true happiness. Bubbles joined them, offering his unwavering support. He suggested they spend the evening relaxing together, finding comfort in their lifelong brotherhood. Ricky nodded slowly, agreeing that he was ultimately fine and that he would eventually move on from this heartbreak. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the quiet neighborhood, Bubbles gathered Ricky and Julian together for a serious conversation. He poured them each a fresh, cool beverage and asked them to sit down and truly listen to him. Bubbles took a deep breath, his eyes shining with a mixture of immense love and deep concern for his chosen family. He started by looking them directly in the eyes and telling them how deeply and unconditionally he loved them. He stated that they were his brothers, and he would always care for them. Julian and Ricky quickly echoed his sentiments, confirming their mutual affection. Bubbles then adopted a more serious tone. He gently asked his friends if they had truly looked at their lives recently. He pointed out that they were all getting older. The days of their youth were slipping away, and yet they were still making the same reckless, impulsive decisions they had made when they were teenagers. Bubbles spoke with profound sincerity. He explained that their constant pursuit of easy money and their willingness to operate outside the boundaries of the law was not benefiting anyone. It only brought chaos, stress, and disappointment into their lives. He acknowledged Ricky and his attempt to build a botanical business, but firmly stated that operating in secret and taking massive risks was not a sustainable way to provide for a family. Ricky humbly agreed, admitting his mistakes and expressing deep regret for hiding his actions from the people who loved him most. Bubbles continued his heartfelt plea. He shared his own fears about the future. He described his vision of them growing old, warning them that if they continued down this dangerous path, they might end up spending their final, most precious years isolated and alone, separated from their families and from each other. The thought of losing his best friends brought a noticeable tremble to Bubbles and his voice. He pleaded with them to understand that this moment needed to serve as a massive awakening for all of them. He pointed to his own successful, legitimate craft soda business as proof that they were capable of achieving great things through honest, dedicated hard work. He challenged Ricky and Julian to finally grow up, to take genuine responsibility for their actions, and to make positive choices that would build a safe and secure future. He declared that if they truly loved him as much as they claimed, they would completely abandon their reckless schemes forever. The air grew thick with emotion. The profound truth of Bubbles and his words resonated deeply within the hearts of Ricky and Julian. They realized that their friend was absolutely right. The pursuit of quick success was never worth risking their freedom or their precious bond. Bubbles handed Ricky a glass of his special beverage, offering a warm, forgiving smile. He told Ricky to consider it a drink for deep thinking and reflection. Ricky accepted the glass with immense gratitude, thanking Bubbles for his honesty and his unwavering loyalty. Julian smiled softly, feeling a renewed sense of hope for their future. As they sat together under the evening sky, surrounded by the quiet hum of their community, they silently agreed to leave their past mistakes behind and walk forward together on a brighter, more positive path. The evening air was cool and crisp as Ricky stood alone by the edge of the forest. He looked up at the sky and felt a deep sense of accomplishment wash over his soul. This was a monumental night for him. He had finally achieved something entirely on his own, and his hard work was paying off in ways he had only ever dreamed about. He thought about his past and how things had often gone wrong because he relied too heavily on his friends, Julian and Bubbles. He realized that a man must stand on his own 2 feet. He had finally educated himself and embraced the value of hard work. He understood now that if a person wants a task done perfectly, that person must do it by his own hands. He turned to his friends who were standing nearby in the quiet dusk. He acknowledged that they had helped a little bit too, and he felt a warm sense of gratitude toward them. Corey nodded enthusiastically and told Ricky that they completely supported him and would always have his back. Ricky gently asked them to remain quiet for a moment because he was trying to articulate his profound thoughts. He explained to his attentive friends that he had secured an incredible, legitimate agreement with an herbal apothecary in the lovely city of Halifax. The payment would be delivered in physical currency, a true reward for his agricultural dedication. He felt a profound sense of relief and declared that he was finally moving forward in life. He acknowledged that Julian and Bubbles might be slightly disappointed that he had kept this botanical project a secret from them. He originally intended to share the news early on, but he formulated a better plan. He decided he would host a massive, joyful gathering for the entire community. He truly believed that a wonderful celebration could mend any minor misunderstandings. He gathered his crew and pointed toward the rolling hills. He instructed the boys that they were approaching the tree line. He emphasized that once they arrived at the garden, there must be absolute silence and focused dedication. Their goal was to gently harvest the beautiful botanical plants as quickly as possible and leave the area before the morning sun began to rise. Corey and Jacob agreed eagerly, their faces glowing with innocent excitement. Corey expressed his deep appreciation to Ricky for including them in this significant harvest. Suddenly, a loud noise disrupted the quiet night. It was the sound of an automated agricultural deterrent, a device used by local farmers to safely scare away wandering wildlife. Jacob panicked slightly and asked if the authorities had arrived. Ricky squinted into the darkness and reassured his friends. He realized it was just a harmless noise machine. He urged his friends to stand up and be brave. However, the sudden sound caused a moment of chaotic confusion. They stumbled in the dark and tumbled down a steep embankment filled with loose gravel. Ricky felt a sharp sting as he tumbled, realizing that his grand, peaceful plan was unraveling into a comical mishap. He sat in the gravel, brushing the dust from his clothes. He wondered aloud why the universe constantly presented him with such immense and unpredictable challenges. The scene gently shifted. He felt a profound sense of accomplishment welling up inside his chest. This was a monumental night for him. For the first time in a long time, he had finally built something of his own, and it was truly paying off. He reflected on how things had gone wrong in the past often because he relied too heavily on his best friends Julian and Bubbles instead of taking personal responsibility. He smiled to himself, realizing that he had finally learned a valuable lesson. If you want something done right, you have to put in the hard work and get it done by yourself. He knew deep down that his friends had helped him a bit along the way, and he was grateful for them, but this specific victory was his own. He had spent the entire summer cultivating a secret garden of rare prize-winning heirloom tomatoes deep in the woods. It was a beautiful agricultural project. He had engineered a perfect irrigation system and nurtured 75 beautiful plants until they grew 8 feet tall. He had just secured an incredible backdoor deal with one of the most prominent organic markets in Halifax. They were going to pay him a large sum of cash. He felt like his struggles were finally over. He knew that Julian and Bubbles might be slightly upset that he had kept this botanical venture a secret from them. His plan to fix that was simple and generous. He was going to throw a massive community party. In his mind, a grand celebration could fix any misunderstanding. Earlier that night, Ricky had gathered his loyal companions Corey and Jacob to help him harvest the final crop. They parked their vehicle near the tree line and walked softly into the forest. Ricky instructed them to stay quiet and focused. They needed to gather the tomatoes as quickly as possible and head home before the sun came up. Corey and Jacob were eager to help, assuring Ricky that they had his back and thanking him for letting them be part of such an important harvest. Suddenly, a loud, echoing noise shattered the silence of the woods. It sounded like a loud security mechanism from a nearby farm. Panic set in immediately. The boys were startled and confused. They had been practicing a new hobby called rollerblade skiing earlier that day and were still wearing their gear. In their rush to escape the loud noise, they lost their balance. Ricky tripped over a large tree root and tumbled down a steep embankment. Jacob fell hard into a deep patch of rough gravel. It was a chaotic and clumsy moment. Ricky lay on the ground, looking up at the night sky, feeling a familiar sense of defeat. He wondered why the universe constantly seemed to test his patience. His beautiful harvest had been trampled in the confusion, and his grand plan was suddenly falling apart. He gathered his bruised friends, and they limped back home feeling exhausted and humbled. Meanwhile, the next morning, on the other side of the park, Bubbles was experiencing his own entrepreneurial success. He stood proudly in front of his shed, showing off his brand new business set up to anyone who walked by. He had recently sold his famous secret pizza sauce recipe to an investor and had reinvested every single penny into building a wholesome artisan root beer brewing station. He called his creation Green Bastard Artisan Soda. He proudly explained that he had started off slow, but business was currently booming. He was selling a massive amount of his craft soda to the wonderful people in the park. The residents loved the refreshing taste. Despite his success, Bubbles was feeling a significant amount of pressure that day. Ricky had announced that he was going to throw a major party to share some huge news, and he had ordered 22 large batches of root beer for the event. Bubbles was working tirelessly to get the entire order bottled and ready. He was genuinely excited to hear Ricky share his big announcement. Julian approached the brewing station to see how Bubbles was doing. Bubbles smiled and told him that the business was treating him incredibly well. It was honest hard work and far more rewarding than his previous odd jobs. He offered Julian a sample to test the temperature and quality. Julian took a sip and praised the flavor, noting that it was wonderful that people were enjoying it. Julian then suggested that Bubbles should create a special protein drink named after him, calling it Muscle Man. Bubbles chuckled at the joke, but then noticed a shift in Julian. Julian began asking probing questions about the company valuation and profit margins. Bubbles felt a wave of disappointment. He realized that Julian was only showing interest because the business was generating a steady income. Bubbles asked Julian to stop using complicated business terms he had learned from television shows. Julian sighed heavily and confessed the truth. He was completely out of money. He explained how he was trying his hardest to live a legitimate life, but he was finding it incredibly difficult. He shared a humiliating story about a recent date where he invited a woman over for a movie night in his trailer, but he could not even afford to buy microwave popcorn. She had to purchase the snacks herself. Bubbles felt a mix of frustration and profound sympathy for his oldest friend. He scolded Julian for trying to live beyond his means, but he could not bear to see his friend suffer. Bubbles handed Julian a bag of popcorn, telling him that he obviously needed the charity. Julian tried to refuse out of pride, but Bubbles insisted, showing the deep, unconditional love that existed beneath their bickering. Later that afternoon, Ricky arrived at the shed looking disheveled. His arm was bandaged from his fall in the woods. He complained about his difficult day, but quickly shifted the conversation to his girlfriend, Susan. Ricky had been dating Susan for several months, and he confessed that it felt wonderful to have someone to share his life with again. He admitted that she could be challenging to deal with at times, but their connection was incredibly strong. He joked that he needed to get into better shape just to keep up with her energy. Deep down, Bubbles was happy that Ricky had found companionship. He knew Ricky needed a supportive partner in his life, but he also harbored some genuine concerns. Susan had a strong personality, and Bubbles worried that she sometimes influenced Ricky in ways he did not even realize. He asked Ricky how he had injured his arm. Ricky tried to casually explain that Corey and Jacob had been rollerblade skiing. He described how they hit a terrible patch of gravel and crashed hard. He noted that Jacob took the worst of the fall and ended up with bits of gravel embedded in his skin. He suggested that gravel should be banned because it was too dangerous for rollerblade skiing. Ricky returned to his trailer where his daughter Trinity and her husband Jacob were waiting. Trinity looked at the small wounds on Jacob's chest and demanded to know the truth. She knew they were not just rollerblade injuries. Ricky looked at his family and felt a heavy burden of guilt. He decided it was time to be completely honest. He apologized sincerely to his family. He confessed that he had been keeping a massive secret from them all summer. He admitted that he had not been taking small engine repair classes or crane operator courses as he had told them. Instead, he had been secretly growing the massive garden of prize-winning tomatoes by himself down near the bluffs. Trinity was deeply disappointed. She reminded him that he had promised to focus on his education and build a stable future. Ricky pleaded for her understanding. He explained how beautiful the plants were and how he had developed a special agricultural technique. He told them about the lucrative cash deal he had arranged. He truly believed that if the harvest had been successful, he could have retired and provided for them forever. He took full responsibility for taking Jacob and Corey with him into the woods. He explained how the loud noise startled them, causing the terrible fall and the loss of the entire crop. Trinity was upset that Ricky had put her husband in a foolish situation. She told Ricky to let the dream go and focus on reality. Ricky felt heartbroken. He was so close to providing a wonderful life for his family. Trinity assumed that the big party announcement was going to be about the tomatoes, but Ricky corrected her. He insisted that the announcement was something entirely different and far more important than a simple agricultural sale. Across the park, the former park supervisor, Mr. Leahy, and his partner Randy were celebrating a fresh start. They had finally finished their community service and were free men. They felt a renewed sense of hope. Randy expressed his joy, stating that even though they were starting over from scratch, they had each other and their love had never been stronger. They were approached by Ted, a local official who had overseen their case. Ted informed them that the $400,000 they had discovered was supposed to be locked away in an evidence room. However, Ted believed the community needed new resources like computers and forensic equipment, so he allocated the funds to the local station. He warned Leahy and Randy to stay quiet about the money and live peacefully, or they would face severe consequences. Leahy and Randy agreed to keep the peace. They walked away feeling a sense of relief. They discussed their future. Randy suggested they use the small amount of savings they had left to enjoy a nice day at the local horse track. Leahy agreed, thinking it would be a wonderful way to relax and let fate decide their fortune. Back at Ricky's trailer, Corey and Jacob were admiring a beautifully constructed wooden deck that Ricky had built entirely by himself. Ricky proudly showed off his craftsmanship. He had created a comfortable outdoor living space complete with a kitchen area, a cozy bedroom space, a television stand, and a custom lamp. Their debts with Julian, thereby wiping the slate clean and securing a peaceful coexistence. Randy agreed that this was a wise approach. If they offered Julian a fair share, they would still have enough remaining to live comfortably and peacefully for a very long time. They made a pact to keep the total amount a secret, using the peace offering as a way to finally move on from the conflicts of the past. At the same time, Ricky, Corey, and Jacob were attempting to transport the magnificent horse they had acquired. They had found a beautiful animal, but moving it proved to be a significant challenge. The horse, sensing the anxiety of the three men, stood stubbornly in place, refusing to move forward. Ricky tried to encourage the animal gently, while Corey and Jacob attempted to guide it from behind and the front. The situation quickly became comical as the three men struggled to understand the basic mechanics of leading a horse. Ricky demanded that the others push and pull with more effort. In the confusion, the horse became startled and kicked its hind legs, accidentally striking Jacob. The impact sent Jacob tumbling to the ground. Ricky rushed over, deeply concerned for the well-being of his friend. Jacob groaned, complaining of a sharp pain in his back and chest. Ricky felt a terrible sense of guilt. Once again, his grand plans had resulted in an injury to someone he cared about. He apologized profusely to Jacob, realizing that rushing the process was a mistake. Jacob, trying to remain brave, insisted he was fine, though he clearly needed rest. They abandoned the immediate transport of the horse, deciding to focus on the health of Jacob instead. Back at the brewing station, Bubbles was finishing up the massive order. He was exhausted but satisfied. He had loaded all the bottles into a small, specially decorated transport vehicle he used for local deliveries. He felt a sense of pride as he looked at the finished product. His hard work was translating into a tangible, positive outcome. One of his regular customers, a man known for his incredibly loud and volatile temper named Donnie, approached the cart. Donnie was shouting about a minor inconvenience regarding the placement of some decorative stones near his home. Bubbles, maintaining his calm and professional demeanor, offered Donnie a complimentary case of the beverage to soothe his anger. Donnie accepted the offer but continued to yell about a separate grievance he had with Ricky regarding some missing food items. Bubbles simply nodded, asking Donnie if he planned to attend the grand gathering later that evening. Donnie shouted a non-committal response and stormed off. Bubbles watched him go, shaking his head in mild amusement. He often wondered how exhausting it must be to carry so much anger all the time. He felt grateful for his own peaceful nature. As the sun began to set, the community gathered at the home of Ricky for the highly anticipated party. The music was playing, the beverages brewed by Bubbles were flowing, and the atmosphere was filled with joyful anticipation. Ricky stood at the front of the crowd, a bright smile on his face. He welcomed everyone, his voice filled with genuine warmth and excitement. He thanked them for joining him on this monumental occasion. He signaled to Corey and Jacob, who proudly led the beautiful horse into the center of the gathering. The crowd gasped in surprise. Ricky announced that he had brought the magnificent animal as a symbol of his love and devotion for Susan. He declared his intention to offer the horse as a gift and to ask Susan to be his wife. Bubbles and Julian watched the scene unfold with a mixture of shock and deep concern. Bubbles pulled Ricky aside, speaking in a hushed, urgent tone. He asked Ricky to reconsider his actions. Bubbles pointed out that Ricky and Susan, while passionate, often experienced severe communication issues and frequent arguments. He believed that a grand gesture like a horse would not solve the fundamental problems in their relationship. He urged Ricky to think logically and perhaps return the animal before things became too complicated. Ricky listened to Bubbles, his initial excitement fading slightly. He explained that he truly believed his love for Susan was strong enough to overcome their differences. He hoped that the grand gesture would prove his dedication and solidify their bond. He admitted that the horse might have been an extravagant choice, but his heart was in the right place. He wanted to show Susan how deeply he cared for her. Just as Ricky was defending his decision, Susan arrived at the party. However, instead of tears of joy, her face was contorted with intense anger. She marched through the crowd, completely ignoring the beautiful horse. She confronted Ricky loudly, her voice echoing over the music. She accused him of terrible betrayals, claiming that he had been unfaithful and had caused a massive disruption in her living situation. Ricky was entirely blindsided by the accusations. He pleaded with Susan to calm down and explain the situation. He vehemently denied any wrongdoing, insisting that he had been entirely faithful to her. He explained that he loved her deeply and that the entire gathering, including the horse, was organized so he could ask her to marry him. Susan laughed bitterly at the proposal. She revealed a startling truth. She confessed that she was the one who had made a mistake. She had been unfaithful, and the guilt and complications arising from her own actions had caused her living situation to collapse. Instead of taking responsibility, she had projected her own guilt onto Ricky, blaming him for the chaos she had created. The revelation hit Ricky like a physical blow. He stood in stunned silence as Susan continued to hurl hurtful insults at him, criticizing his lifestyle and his choices. She declared that their relationship was permanently over. Ricky, realizing that the woman he loved had not only betrayed him, but was now trying to destroy his reputation in front of his friends, felt a profound sense of heartbreak. Julian stepped forward, placing a comforting hand on the shoulder of his friend. He gently encouraged Ricky to let her go. He told Ricky that the painful truth was actually a blessing in disguise. It was better to discover the reality of the situation now, before making a lifelong commitment. Bubbles joined them, offering quiet words of support. He suggested they spend the rest of the evening relaxing and finding comfort in their long-standing friendship. Ricky, though deeply hurt, nodded slowly. He realized that Julian and Bubbles were right. The relationship was broken beyond repair, and holding onto it would only bring more pain. While the drama unfolded at the party, Jim and Randy were sitting quietly in their own space, discussing their financial strategy. Jim, feeling optimistic, suggested that instead of giving the money directly to Julian immediately, they should try to increase their funds through careful investments at the local recreational track. Randy was hesitant, worrying about the risks involved. But Jim, fueled by a renewed sense of confidence, believed that they could turn their small fortune into a massive sum, securing their future and paying off all their debts with ease. He spoke beautifully about their future together, painting a picture of a life free from worry and conflict. Back at the gathering, the atmosphere had shifted from celebratory to deeply reflective. Bubbles sat with Julian and Ricky, handing them each a fresh beverage. The evening had been chaotic and painful, but it had also brought a moment of intense clarity. Bubbles looked at his two oldest friends, his heart heavy with emotion. He realized that they could not continue living their lives in the same chaotic manner. Bubbles took a deep breath and began to speak, his voice steady and full of genuine love. He told Julian and Ricky that he cared for them more than anything in the world. They were his chosen family, the brothers he never had. But he also knew that it was time for some difficult truths. He asked them to truly look at themselves, to reflect on the passage of time. He pointed out that they were all growing older. The days of reckless adventures and ill-conceived schemes needed to be left in the past. He observed that while they were aging, their behavior had not matured. They were still engaging in the same risky activities they had pursued in their youth, and it was not leading them toward a positive future. Bubbles spoke about his own journey. He talked about the immense pride he felt in building his small, legitimate business. It was hard work, requiring patience and dedication, but the reward was a sense of peace and stability that no quick scheme could ever provide. He contrasted his peaceful life with the constant stress and danger that Julian and Ricky faced. He looked directly at Ricky and told him that the secret garden project was a perfect example of the problem. Ricky had put incredible effort into a massive undertaking, but because it was built on a foundation of secrecy and rule-breaking, it ultimately ended in failure and disappointment. Bubbles stressed that true success cannot be built on a fragile, hidden foundation. He then might have obtained them through less than honest means. Ricky quickly defended himself, inventing a story about a newly opened local store where they had purchased the equipment. The fabrication fell apart completely when the daughter of Ricky, Trinity, walked into the yard. She had seen the aftermath of the incident and immediately confronted her father. She pointed out that the marks on the chest of Jacob were not from a simple fall on gravel. She demanded the truth. Faced with the loving but stern gaze of his daughter and his closest friends, Ricky finally broke down. He realized that keeping secrets was only causing pain. Ricky took a deep breath and offered a sincere apology. He confessed that he had been keeping a major secret from everyone for the entire summer. He admitted that he had not been attending the educational courses he had claimed to be taking. Instead, he had been secretly tending to a massive garden of botanical plants deep in the woods. Trinity looked at him with profound disappointment. She reminded him of the promises he had made to change his life and embrace honesty. Ricky nodded, his voice filled with remorse. He explained that he had put his heart and soul into the project. He had developed a beautiful, thriving garden with an intricate irrigation system. He described the plants as magnificent, reaching impressive heights. He had secured a safe, reliable buyer and was incredibly close to achieving total financial independence. He wanted to provide for his family and friends, to ensure they would never have to struggle again. But then, he explained the tragic events of the previous night. He admitted that taking Corey and Jacob with him was a terrible mistake. When they arrived at the clearing, they discovered that an unknown group had already found the garden. The strangers had taken everything, harvesting the plants and vanishing into the night. The loud noise that had frightened them was likely a warning from the trespassers. Trinity was deeply upset. She could not believe that her father would endanger her husband, Jacob, by taking him on such a risky nighttime excursion. Ricky tried to defend himself, stating that Jacob had volunteered to go, but Trinity quickly pointed out the flaw in that logic. She argued that Ricky, as the elder and the leader, should have known better than to allow it. Julian chimed in, echoing the sentiments of Trinity. He emphasized the danger they had been in and urged Ricky to let the matter go. The project was gone, and chasing after the culprits would only lead to more trouble. Ricky, filled with frustration and a sense of loss, declared that he was incredibly close to reaching his ultimate goal of early retirement. He expressed a deep desire to find the people who had taken his hard work. But Julian remained firm, telling him that the chapter was closed and he needed to accept it. Bubbles, trying to understand the sequence of events, asked about the upcoming gathering. He assumed that the Lost Garden was supposed to be the subject of the big announcement. Ricky quickly corrected him. He stated that the grand announcement he had planned was entirely separate from the garden project. It was something much bigger, something positive and life-changing. Bubbles was skeptical. He demanded to know if Ricky still needed the massive order of beverages. Ricky confirmed with absolute certainty that the beverages were still essential. The announcement was going to be monumental, a truly spectacular moment that would bring everyone together. While Ricky was dealing with the fallout of his secret project, another significant event was taking place across town. Jim and Randy, two prominent members of the community who had recently faced some legal misunderstandings, were finally returning home. They had spent some time away, reflecting on their past choices. Jim looked around the familiar streets, feeling a profound sense of relief. He expressed his disdain for the complicated situations that had led them away from home. He acknowledged that they were starting over from nothing, but he remained incredibly optimistic. He turned to Randy, his eyes filled with genuine affection. He stated that the material losses did not matter because at the very least, they had their freedom and they had each other. Jim reflected on the time they had spent away. He believed that the experience had actually strengthened their bond. He felt closer to Randy than ever before. Their love and mutual support had been their guiding light through the difficult period. He only hoped that Randy was feeling mentally and emotionally stable as they reintegrated into normal society. Their peaceful return was briefly interrupted by a local official named Ted. Ted approached them with a stern expression, mentioning rumors that Jim and Randy might try to cause trouble for him in the future. Jim, maintaining his composure, replied calmly. He spoke about the power of truth and freedom, assuring Ted that they had no intention of dwelling on the past. Ted, looking for a way to ensure their silence regarding some administrative irregularities, offered them a significant sum of money. It was a portion of the funds from their previous misunderstanding that Ted had diverted for community improvements, such as new equipment for the local station. Ted considered the money a peace offering, a way to settle their differences permanently. Jim and Randy, eager to move forward and secure a peaceful future, accepted the offer. They understood the terms of the agreement. They would keep the administrative details to themselves, and in return, they would have a financial foundation to rebuild their lives. Jim assured Ted that they were more than satisfied with the arrangement. They made a solemn promise to maintain their silence, knowing that breaking the agreement would ruin the peace they had just regained. Back at the home of Ricky, the preparations for the big announcement were underway. Ricky was proudly showing off the wooden structure he had built. It was a multi-level deck attached to his home, complete with a cozy sleeping area, a modern entertainment system, and comfortable seating. He walked his friends through the space, pointing out the beautiful details and the sturdy construction. He had even built a special section for his young grandson, ensuring the area was safe and welcoming for the entire family. He led them up to the top level, showing off the relaxing patio space he had designed. He felt like a king in his own castle, proud of the physical manifestation of his hard work. Corey and Jacob were genuinely impressed. They complimented the craftsmanship, telling Ricky how incredible the structure looked. Ricky appreciated the praise, but his mind quickly shifted back to the impending announcement. He confessed to his younger friends that the announcement needed to be absolutely spectacular. He was worried that after the failure of the garden project, he would appear foolish if the upcoming news was not impressive enough. He asked Corey and Jacob for suggestions on how to make a grand entrance. Corey, always full of imaginative but impractical ideas, suggested that Ricky should announce that he had returned from the afterlife. Ricky quickly dismissed the idea, pointing out the obvious logical flaw that he was clearly standing right in front of them. Jacob then suggested that Ricky should announce a run for a high political office, perhaps even the leader of the country. Ricky found the idea amusing but ultimately unbelievable. Ricky stressed that the announcement needed a visual element, something large and impactful. Corey suggested arriving in a massive construction vehicle, but Ricky felt that was too complicated. Then, inspiration struck. Corey suggested using an animal, something exotic and majestic. Ricky liked the direction of the thought. He considered the idea of a rare animal, but realized that acquiring something truly exotic locally would be impossible. He needed an animal that was large, impressive, and accessible. Jacob, thinking carefully, described a large animal that consumes grass and lives on agricultural land. Corey initially guessed a common household insect, to the utter disbelief of Ricky. Finally, the realization dawned on them. A horse. It was the perfect solution. A horse was majestic, beautiful, and certainly large enough to make a statement. Corey took the idea a step further. He suggested that the horse could serve as a grand engagement gift for Susan. Ricky was stunned by the brilliance of the idea. An engagement alone was major news, but an engagement accompanied by the gift of a beautiful horse would be legendary. It was the grand gesture he had been searching for. Corey even suggested adding a decorative element to the horse to make it look magical, but Ricky decided that a simple, beautiful horse was more than enough. The plan was set. This grand romantic gesture would change everything and secure his happiness. Meanwhile, Jim and Randy were walking back to their neighborhood, discussing their newly acquired funds. Randy was visibly nervous. He reminded Jim of the complicated history they shared with Julian, and how Julian often held them responsible for past misfortunes. Randy feared that Julian would demand the money as compensation. Jim, however, saw an opportunity. He suggested that they could use a portion of the funds to officially settle them in a hidden clearing down by the old bluff. Ricky realized a profound truth during those long days in the sun. He learned that if you want something done perfectly, you have to put in the effort and do it by yourself. He smiled, acknowledging deep down that his friends had offered a little bit of help along the way, but the core of the success was his own. He remembered the conversations with his younger friends, Corey and Jacob. They had always looked up to him, always eager to lend a hand. He remembered telling them to be quiet while he spoke. His voice filled with pride as he explained the incredible arrangement he had secured. He had found a legitimate local vendor willing to purchase his entire harvest for a handsome sum of cash. It was the kind of money that meant he could finally stop worrying. He was ready to be done with the struggles of the past. He had finally achieved his goal. He knew that Julian and Bubbles might be slightly disappointed that he had kept this project a secret from them. He had originally planned to involve them, but he decided to host a massive celebration instead. In the mind of Ricky, a grand gathering with food and laughter was the perfect way to mend any hurt feelings. A good party, he believed, had the power to fix absolutely everything. The memory of the harvest night flashed in his mind. It was supposed to be a simple, swift operation. Ricky had led Corey and Jacob through the dense tree line, whispering strict instructions. He told them that once they reached the clearing, there was to be no talking and absolutely no foolishness. Their mission was to carefully gather the botanical plants as quickly as possible and leave the forest before the morning sun began to rise. Corey and Jacob were enthusiastic, their voices filled with eager agreement. They assured Ricky that they had everything under control and thanked him for allowing them to be part of such an important moment. But the tranquility of the forest was suddenly shattered. A loud, unexpected noise echoed through the trees, a booming sound that resembled a hunter discharging a firearm in the distance. The sudden sound sent a wave of panic through the trio. In the darkness, imagination took over. Someone shouted in fear, wondering if the authorities had discovered their location. Ricky tried to calm them, insisting that it was merely a stray noise from the distance, perhaps a hunter or a startled animal. But the fear was contagious. Panic set in, and the peaceful harvest turned into a chaotic retreat. They scrambled away from the clearing, leaving the fruits of their labor behind. Ricky felt a familiar sting of disappointment. He wondered why the universe constantly placed hurdles in his path just when he was on the verge of success. Meanwhile, on the other side of the neighborhood, Bubbles was experiencing a remarkably different kind of evening. The air around his small home was thick with the rich, comforting aroma of hops and warm grains. Bubbles was standing proudly in front of his new brewing equipment. He had recently sold his beloved pizza sauce recipe to an eccentric local entrepreneur and had wisely reinvested every single penny into building a small, legitimate craft beverage business. He looked at the gleaming containers and smiled warmly. The venture had started off slowly, requiring immense patience and dedication, but he was finally starting to see a decent return on his investment. He held up a bottle of his signature creation, admiring the label he had designed. Business was truly booming, and the local residents were thoroughly enjoying his hard work. However, despite his success, Bubbles was feeling a significant amount of pressure that particular day. Word had spread that Ricky was preparing to make a major announcement at his upcoming gathering. Because of this grand event, Ricky had placed a massive order for 22 large cases of the craft beverage. Bubbles knew that whatever Ricky was planning to announce, it had to be incredibly important to require such a vast amount of refreshments. Bubbles felt a surge of energy and motivation. He was pumped and ready to work through the night to fulfill the order. Just as he was organizing the empty bottles, Julian walked over, looking curious. Julian greeted Bubbles and asked how the new enterprise was treating him. Bubbles beamed with pride, his eyes sparkling behind his thick glasses. He told Julian that the business was absolutely wonderful. It was fulfilling, honest work, and he found it far more rewarding than any of their previous misguided schemes. Julian nodded approvingly, noting that the community was really embracing the new product. Julian, always the one with an eye for expansion, leaned in and shared a new idea. He suggested that Bubbles could create a special edition beverage, perhaps a protein-enhanced drink, and name it after Julian, featuring a strong, muscular theme. Bubbles chuckled at the suggestion, finding it mildly amusing but remaining focused on his current tasks. Julian then shifted the conversation, adopting a more serious tone. He asked Bubbles about his sales figures and whether the business was generating a genuine profit. Bubbles hesitated for a moment. He knew his friend well. Whenever Julian started asking about profits and sales, it usually meant he was looking for a way to insert himself into the operation. Bubbles gently but firmly told Julian that his sales were doing great, but he could clearly see where the conversation was heading. He pointed out that now that the business was generating income, Julian was suddenly very interested in the details. Julian became slightly defensive, insisting that he only wanted to ensure Bubbles was making wise decisions and protecting himself from being taken advantage of by distributors. Julian tried to use complicated business terminology he had learned from watching television shows about entrepreneurs, asking about company valuations and profit margins. Bubbles simply shook his head, refusing to be intimidated by the fancy words. He knew his business inside and out. The truth was, Julian was struggling. He looked at Bubbles and confessed that he was entirely out of money. He explained that he was desperately trying to live a legitimate, honest life, but he was finding the transition incredibly difficult. He shared a story about a recent date he had gone on. He had invited a wonderful woman over to watch a movie, but he was so financially strained that he had to ask her to purchase the popcorn. Julian felt a deep sense of embarrassment about the situation. Bubbles, full of practical wisdom, gently scolded him. He reminded Julian that if funds were tight, he should avoid extravagant plans. Julian defended himself, explaining that they were only watching a movie at his home, but he could not even afford the simple luxury of microwave popcorn. Seeing the genuine distress on the face of his friend, Bubbles felt a wave of compassion. He reached into his pocket and handed Julian a small sum of money, insisting that he take it. Julian, burdened by pride, initially refused, calling the gesture pathetic and stating that he did not want charity. But Bubbles was persistent. He reminded Julian that accepting help from a friend is not charity. It is simply friendship. He pointed out that if Julian could not afford popcorn, he clearly needed a little assistance to get through the week. Their conversation was interrupted by the sudden arrival of Ricky. Ricky walked into the yard, looking thoroughly exhausted. His arm was wrapped in a makeshift bandage, and he appeared to be in a significant amount of discomfort. He complained loudly about the various frustrations in his life. Julian, immediately concerned, asked Ricky what had happened to his arm. Ricky deflected the question, choosing instead to talk about his romantic life. He spoke about his girlfriend, Susan. They had been dating for several months, and Ricky confessed that despite their occasional disagreements, the relationship had brought a lot of joy into his life. He admitted that he had forgotten how wonderful it felt to have someone to share his days with. He spoke fondly of their connection, noting that the relationship had even motivated him to try and improve his physical health. Bubbles listened to Ricky with a mixture of happiness and concern. A part of Bubbles was genuinely thrilled for Ricky. He believed that Ricky needed a supportive partner in his life. However, Bubbles also harbored some quiet reservations. He felt that Susan had a very strong personality and sometimes heavily influenced the decisions Ricky made. Bubbles worried about his friend, hoping that the relationship was truly healthy and balanced. Julian gently steered the conversation back to the injured arm. He asked Ricky again how he had managed to get such a nasty cut. Ricky sighed and fabricated a story. He claimed that he, Corey, and Jacob had been trying out a new recreational activity that involved wearing roller skates while moving over rough terrain. He described how they were moving quickly and suddenly hit a large patch of loose gravel, resulting in a terrible fall. Ricky claimed that Jacob had taken the worst of the impact and that the gravel was incredibly dangerous. Julian and Bubbles exchanged a skeptical look. The story sounded highly improbable. Julian questioned where they would even acquire roller skates, implying that heavy silence fell over the audience. Julian immediately stepped forward, pulling Ricky aside with a look of desperate urgency. He whispered frantically, asking Ricky if he had lost his mind. He passionately argued that a healthy, loving relationship did not require the presentation of large livestock. He insisted that if Susan truly loved him, she would not care about grand, eccentric gifts. Bubbles quickly joined the intervention, his face etched with genuine worry. He reminded Ricky that his relationship with Susan was historically volatile. They were known for their intense, passionate disagreements that often completely overshadowed their moments of harmony. Bubbles gently suggested that adding a massive, unpredictable animal to their already chaotic dynamic was a recipe for absolute disaster. He urged Ricky to instruct Corey and Jacob to return the horse immediately. Ricky listened to his friends, a flicker of doubt crossing his face. He acknowledged that perhaps a horse was an unconventional choice, but he defended his decision. He explained that he simply wanted to demonstrate the massive scale of his affection. He believed that an overwhelming display of romance could magically erase all the difficulties of their past. Just as Ricky finished defending his grand romantic strategy, the crowd parted, and Susan marched into the clearing. However, her demeanor was not that of a joyful partner anticipating a romantic proposal. Her face was flushed with an intense, fiery indignation. She marched directly toward Ricky, her eyes blazing with absolute fury. Ricky smiled uncertainly, gesturing toward the horse, but Susan completely ignored the magnificent animal. Instead, she launched into a furious tirade. She pointed a trembling finger at Ricky, accusing him of a profound and devastating betrayal. She claimed that his reckless actions had completely ruined her life. She dramatically revealed that due to a recent, incredibly irresponsible mistake on his part, her absolute favorite, most cherished vintage dress had been completely destroyed in a disastrous laundry incident involving industrial-strength bleach. The accusation hung in the air, thick and heavy. Ricky was completely bewildered. He frantically searched his memory, vehemently denying any involvement with her laundry. He pleaded with her to calm down and look at the beautiful horse he had brought to celebrate their love. Susan was entirely unmoved. The argument rapidly escalated into a highly public display of deeply rooted frustrations. She expressed her absolute exhaustion with his constant, chaotic decisions. She detailed his lack of responsibility, his tendency to attract unnecessary complications, and his inability to maintain a stable, peaceful environment. She declared that she could no longer tolerate the sheer unpredictability of his lifestyle. With a final, incredibly dramatic declaration of her independence, she announced the permanent conclusion of their relationship. She turned on her heel and walked away, disappearing into the crowd, leaving Ricky standing completely alone next to the large, indifferent horse. The festive atmosphere evaporated instantly, replaced by a heavy, awkward silence. Julian stepped forward, placing a comforting hand on his friend's shoulder. He spoke quietly, suggesting that perhaps this sudden separation was a necessary step toward finding genuine peace for both of them. Ricky stared at the ground, a deep sadness washing over him as he slowly nodded in agreement, finally realizing that a grand gesture could not repair a fundamentally incompatible connection. As the evening descended, painting the sky in deep shades of purple and blue, the lively party transformed into a quiet, reflective gathering. Ricky sat alone on his newly built deck, staring thoughtfully into the distance, processing the profound events of the day. Julian approached him quietly, offering a warm word of support and a simple beverage to help soothe his troubled thoughts. Ricky declined the offer, stating that he preferred to sit quietly with a clear mind. It was at this poignant moment that Bubbles stepped forward. He moved toward his two oldest and dearest friends, his eyes shining with a profound and undeniable sincerity. He asked for their complete and undivided attention. He stated that he had something incredibly important to share, a collection of thoughts and feelings that had been building inside his heart for a very long time. He began by looking deeply into their eyes, affirming his deep and unwavering love for them both. He declared that his affection for them had been a constant force throughout his entire life and would remain so until the end of his days. Julian and Ricky quickly and warmly returned the sentiment, deeply moved by his vulnerability. But then, Bubbles' demeanor shifted. His voice grew serious, carrying a weight that commanded absolute respect. He asked them to truly look at themselves, to engage in a moment of honest reflection. He urged them to consider the relentless passage of time. They were no longer the carefree young men they once were. They were growing older. Their bodies were beginning to show the undeniable signs of years of hard living, relentless stress, and questionable decisions. Yet, despite their advancing age and the visible toll it was taking, they were still engaging in the exact same reckless, immature behaviors they had pursued in their youth. He pointed out the futility of their actions. He questioned who was actually benefiting from their constant pursuit of quick, illegitimate wealth and chaotic schemes. The answer, he stated firmly, was absolutely no one. Their actions only brought them endless anxiety and perpetual instability. Ricky, feeling a defensive urge, attempted to interject. He argued that he had been incredibly close to achieving a final, legitimate victory that very morning. But Bubbles gently, yet firmly, silenced him. He emphasized that the near victory was nothing more than an illusion, a dangerous gamble that could have easily cost them their freedom, or worse, their lives. He implored Ricky to stop holding onto the false hope of a sudden, magical resolution to their struggles. Bubbles then shifted the focus to his own journey. He spoke with immense pride about his legitimate, hard-earned beverage business. He described the profound satisfaction of creating something real, something tangible that brought joy to others without the constant fear of negative consequences. He spoke of the peace of mind that came from walking a righteous path and contributing positively to their community. He presented his success not to boast, but to serve as a beacon of possibility for his friends. His voice trembled with genuine emotion as he issued a stark warning. He told his friends that if they continued down their current, destructive road, they would inevitably face severe and permanent consequences. He painted a heartbreaking, vivid picture of a future where they might find themselves completely isolated, confined by the results of their own choices. He described a scenario where they would be entirely alone, without the comfort of their families or the presence of their truest friends to hold their hands during their most difficult moments. The imagery was powerful and deeply unsettling. Tears welled in Bubbles' eyes as he delivered his ultimate, heartfelt ultimatum. He stated that if they truly loved him, if the lifelong brotherhood they shared meant absolutely anything to them, they would permanently abandon their reckless schemes and chaotic endeavors. He asked them to choose a life of stability, honesty, and genuine peace. It was a transformative moment. The air was thick with the weight of his words, carrying the undeniable truth of a friend who cared too deeply to watch them fall any further. He did not demand an immediate answer. Instead, he asked them to spend the night thinking deeply about everything he had said. He handed Ricky a final, small beverage, offering it not as a means to escape reality, but as a quiet companion for a night of serious, life-altering contemplation. The three friends sat together under the vast, starry sky, united by a bond that had weathered countless storms, ready to face the dawn of a new, legitimate, and deeply meaningful chapter in their shared lives. The evening sky stretched over the quiet neighborhood, painting the clouds in soft shades of purple and shimmering gold. Ricky stood near the wooden deck he had built with his own two hands, looking out at the horizon with a heart overflowing with hope and a mind racing with excitement. This was a monumental night for him. For the first time in his life, he felt a genuine sense of accomplishment. He took a deep breath of the fresh evening air and thought about how he had finally done something entirely on his own, something that had actually paid off. In the past, his plans had often fallen apart, and he usually placed the blame on the well-meaning but chaotic interference of his lifelong friends, Julian and Bubbles. But this time was truly different. He had finally applied himself, dedicating his time to learning a new trade and cultivating a rare breed of beautiful botanical plants to justify placing them in such a volatile situation. Ricky pleaded for understanding. He passionately argued that he had been incredibly close to achieving total financial independence. He expressed a lingering desire to track down the rival group and reclaim his lost work, but his family firmly prohibited any further escalation. They demanded that he leave the past behind and focus on a safer future. Ricky nodded in quiet agreement, acknowledging the wisdom of their words. He promised to abandon the foolish pursuit. However, his eyes suddenly brightened with a renewed sense of purpose. He reminded everyone that despite the setback in the forest, he still had an incredibly important and monumental announcement to make later that day. He assured them that this upcoming revelation was vastly more significant than any failed agricultural project. Julian, still skeptical from the morning's revelations, questioned the validity of this new claim. He asked Ricky if the massive beverage order was still necessary. Ricky enthusiastically confirmed the order, insisting that the impending announcement would be a truly spectacular event that would bring joy to everyone present. Far removed from the neighborhood drama, two familiar figures were stepping out into the bright sunlight, breathing in the sweet air of unexpected freedom. The former community supervisors had spent a considerable amount of time dealing with the administrative consequences of a highly complicated legal misunderstanding. Now they were finally free to return to their lives. They walked side by side, reflecting on the hardships they had endured. One expressed his deep gratitude for the unwavering support of his companion, noting that their shared challenges had forged a bond stronger than any they had ever known. They faced an uncertain future, having lost their previous positions and financial stability, but they found immense comfort in the fact that they would be starting completely fresh, together. Their peaceful contemplation was interrupted by the approach of a local law enforcement official, a man possessing a highly flexible moral compass. The official greeted them with a sly smile, informing them that he had heard rumors of their intention to cause administrative difficulties for his department. He quickly presented an alternative arrangement. He explained that the substantial sum of money associated with their previous case, an amount totaling $400,000, was originally scheduled to be locked away in a permanent evidence facility. However, recognizing the urgent needs of his own department, he had cleverly reallocated the funds to purchase new forensic equipment, advanced computer systems, and an upgraded patrol vehicle. To ensure their absolute silence regarding this creative accounting maneuver, the official offered the two men a generous settlement of $50,000. He made it perfectly clear that this was an arrangement based on mutual discretion. If they chose to speak a single word of the transaction to anyone, he possessed the authority and the willingness to completely dismantle their newly reclaimed lives. The two men recognized the gravity of the situation and the incredible opportunity presented to them. They eagerly accepted the funds, offering their deepest gratitude to the official. As they walked away, their pockets heavy with unexpected wealth, they engaged in an animated discussion about their future. One suggested a diplomatic approach, proposing that they offer a significant portion of their new wealth to Julian. He reasoned that such a generous gesture might finally mend the deep-seated grievances of the past and secure a lasting, peaceful coexistence within the community. The other man, however, possessed a far more adventurous spirit. He argued that surrendering half of their sudden fortune was entirely unnecessary. He proposed a brilliant alternative strategy. They could take the funds intended for Julian and visit the local equestrian racing track. He believed that by trusting their instincts and enjoying the thrilling atmosphere of the track, they could easily double or even triple their initial investment. The prospect of immense wealth and the promise of a delightful afternoon at the races proved too intoxicating to resist. They agreed to keep their financial windfall an absolute secret and marched confidently toward a future filled with infinite possibilities. Back in the heart of the community, preparations for the grand announcement were in full swing. Ricky was eagerly guiding his friends toward a massive wooden structure he had constructed over the past few weeks. He practically vibrated with pride as he showcased his handiwork. He had built an elaborate multi-level wooden deck that served as a luxurious outdoor living space. He pointed out the various amenities with the enthusiasm of a professional tour guide. The ground level featured a comfortable seating arrangement and a high-definition television. He had even constructed a specialized, incredibly cozy sleeping area dedicated entirely to his beloved grandson, an addition that brought a genuine smile to his face. He then led them up a sturdy set of wooden stairs to the upper level, a space he described as the ultimate relaxation zone. This area was equipped with premium reclining chairs, a powerful audio system, and a beautifully crafted lighting fixture that he had built entirely from scratch. He also proudly demonstrated a highly unconventional but undeniably innovative plumbing solution he had devised. To prevent the need for frequent trips down the stairs, he had installed a specialized funnel system that connected directly to the ground level, ensuring maximum convenience for anyone enjoying the upper deck. Jacob and Corey were completely mesmerized by the impressive structure. They showered Ricky with sincere compliments, declaring the deck to be an absolute masterpiece of residential engineering. Ricky accepted their praise graciously, acknowledging the immense effort he had poured into the project. However, his mind quickly shifted back to the most pressing matter of the day. The grand announcement was rapidly approaching, and he realized that after the disappointment of the morning, he needed a revelation that was truly extraordinary. He turned to Corey and Jacob, demanding their absolute best ideas for a spectacular presentation. He explained that he needed something incredibly memorable to express his profound devotion to his romantic partner, Susan. The initial brainstorming session yielded less than stellar results. Corey, lacking a fundamental understanding of celebratory etiquette, suggested that Ricky announce his own passing to shock the audience. Ricky quickly dismissed the idea as counterproductive and deeply confusing. Jacob then proposed a political angle, suggesting Ricky announce his candidacy for the presidency of the nation. Ricky sighed, explaining that the announcement needed to be grounded in reality and carry a significant emotional weight. He stated that he needed something grand, perhaps a massive object or creature. Corey suddenly brightened, suggesting the acquisition of an exotic animal, specifically a magnificent snow tiger. Ricky appreciated the grandeur of the idea but quickly pointed out the geographical and logistical impossibilities of locating such a rare beast in their immediate vicinity. He needed an animal that was both impressive and locally accessible. Jacob, experiencing a rare moment of profound clarity, suggested a horse. Ricky stopped pacing and stared at Jacob in absolute awe. A horse. It was brilliant. It was majestic, romantic, and undeniably monumental. Corey excitedly suggested adding a decorative horn to transform the animal into a mythical unicorn, but Ricky wisely decided that a beautiful, natural horse would be more than sufficient to convey his deep and abiding love. He immediately dispatched the two young men to secure the noble steed. As the afternoon sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over the neighborhood, a large crowd gathered near the new wooden deck. The atmosphere was incredibly festive. Music pulsed through the air, and the residents enjoyed the refreshing artisanal beverages provided by Bubbles. Ricky stepped up to a small wooden platform, his heart hammering against his ribs. He grabbed a microphone and addressed the cheerful crowd. He welcomed everyone with a wide, genuine smile, expressing his deep gratitude for their presence on what he declared to be the most important day of his life. He asked the audience if they were ready for the grand announcement, and the crowd responded with an enthusiastic cheer. Ricky turned toward the edge of the clearing and gave a subtle nod. From behind a nearby building, Corey and Jacob slowly emerged. They were struggling immensely, pulling and pushing an incredibly large, remarkably beautiful brown horse. The crowd gasped in absolute astonishment. This was certainly not the announcement anyone had anticipated. Bubbles and Julian, standing near the front of the crowd, exchanged looks of profound shock and deep concern. Ricky gestured proudly toward the majestic animal. He announced to the silent crowd that this magnificent creature was a token of his endless love for Susan. He declared his intention to present the horse to her as a grand gesture, right before asking her to be his partner for the rest of their lives.